Back. Good morning, guys.
Yes, he's back.
What up?
He is back.
It's good to be back, but
yes, cheers.
I'll tell you this much.
Where's Randy? I need refill.
No, the thing about it is, like, I missed the markets. I looked, okay, I peeked a couple times because that's what you do. Like, obviously, especially for, like, Reddit.
From baseball.
But I'm telling you right now, like, family vacations, especially when you get somewhere and you're going to chill on a beach and it is high 20s for us. It's, like, great weather, like 80. I think it was 80 or 81 was, like, one of the better days for you in the U.S. But I would have been shoveling snow. The second day we were there was an actual snowfall enough that I would have had to shovel. That's what my neighbors were saying. Because my neighbor had to shovel.
There was, but it went away real quick.
I know it went away fast. Yeah. I'm just saying, though.
I did not had to shovel, but yes.
In that moment, I was like, yeah, I'll be chilling here with my brew. Although I have one beef, and this is for anybody, and maybe this is just a me thing, but if it's 27 degrees, if it's a hot day and I'm at the ballpark and it's a 1 o'clock game and it's spring training, why can't I get a cold brew at the stadium? Because I need my coffee, but I want to drink a hot coffee at a ballpark. Oh. And that was like a big deal for me. I was like, why can you get a cold brew anywhere in Florida, like in any restaurant? Like they're all going to have it, generally speaking.
What was the story? You could not get a beer?
They didn't have a cold brew like coffee.
Oh, cold brew coffee
at the stadium. Because I'm sitting in the hot sun, but I need my coffee.
Right, okay.
And I'm like, no, brew, like you get a beer anywhere.
That's what I was like. I was like, they don't have cold beer?
No, but wouldn't you want to drink a cold coffee if you needed your caffeine?
Yeah.
But it's like balls hot at the game. You know what I mean?
How hot is it again?
What did I say?
I don't know. No, but I agree. I'm into chilled coffee now or whatever.
It's great.
I like it. Yeah,
it's great.
Katrine was doing that, and I kept getting jealous. Remember, she used to always bring it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. What I miss?
Nothing. Oh, the market was pretty quiet. No, we missed some pretty good things. We had DJT last week, of course, going from DWAC to DJT. We had a great PC number on Friday, but of course we were off on Friday, so we'll see. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. We had Reddit going to the downside now.
Ooh, Reddit.
Let me see. I just told you. I said Reddit was near 50, right? It's basically right at 50, 48.50. So this is going to be something to look at today as we stay underneath 50 right now. So yeah, we'll see. I was thinking it was going to hold there, but now we open underneath, so that's from Friday. So Reddit down another 2%. And then let's just check in on NVIDIA real quick here. Bitcoin is actually probably where it was when you left, man, 69,000. I mean, we went...
It's like that hadn't moved.
Yeah, we went up and down. Like, we went to 63 or something, up to 73, and now back in the middle, sort of. NVIDIA, ooh, okay, still holding above 9. So that you know, that was fun on Friday or on Thursday, watching that $900 level. So we'll look at that. And then I was looking, you know, a name this week I think could be interesting, again, with Disney, with Wednesday, with the proxy fight. So... those shares are coming up, or that vote is coming up on Wednesday. So that Disney's the #1 performing stock, I think.
It looks great on
the Dow Jones since the new year. The NASDAQ was up 9% for the quarter. Yo, what's up, Josh? What's going on, big dog? Everything all right? I'm all right. Man, the best quaff in the business over there, Josh.
I know.
My guy here. You'll see him in a second. There he is. Wave. There he is. With Obi chilling out over there.
Obi in the house.
Obi's in the house. Yeah, it's Obi and Adara. I will not call it.
Oh well, no. What's
certain
it? It was no. It was the Egyptian. What was the nickname again?
The Egyptian Nightmare.
No,
that's
there
what
was.
I call. That's what
no.
Oh, shout out to the Egyptian Nightmare in Kenya. Yeah.
No, on the podcast you guys had it. It wasn't.
Oh no, Kunal was saying it about Sharif, but I was thinking he meant Obi.
Dude, that was confusing me because I was like,
even afterwards.
I'm like, wait a minute, because usually we call Sharif the Egyptian. Okay.
Yeah. I thought he was talking about Obi there for a minute, but then he was talking about Adara hitting keys and no. But the reason why is he goes, oh, I saw that Egyptian guy trading Amazon. So I was immediately like, oh, Obi's trading Amazon. Obi looks Egyptian. I mean,
gotcha.
Anybody can look Egyptian.
No, because it confused me too. I was like, whoa, I didn't know we had a nickname like that for Obi.
Wow, Ramin.
Why do you have to...
I was thinking I should buy some Starbucks. I had a story about taking my daughter and her friend over to Starbucks and spending what I thought was like a mortgage payment or something on 2 drinks. But Starbucks. All right, 91.
I don't disagree.
91.50. Anyways, we'll talk about Starbucks and have some good fun. I hope everyone had a great weekend out there. It was a good one, obviously. A great holiday to be with family and friends. So, but now you're with your trading community, and friends abound around here. As Fabian, how was your Easter? You slept and you watched something. Oh, Barry.
Barry, what was it?
I love that show.
Barry Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon. I never heard. I don't know what that is. But you know, I like
have no
Bill
idea.
Hader, that show Barry. Remember that one? They were
Oh,
like a hired hitman or something.
Oh, I'll say this though. You got to watch.
Someone likes Bros.
You got to watch the Three Body Problem.
Three Body Problem.
It is so. Anyway, I'll digress
Is that
for
a
like
Netflix?
1 minute on this. It's on Netflix. I'm a big science fiction nerd, obviously. I said that before, but this is like the book that it's off of is the single best science fiction novel to come out of China. It is like their Foundation or 2001 or whatever you want to call it. And then they like it is, and they do it justice. Like
So
I
you're
read the
watching
I read the books twice. It's it's a show. But I read the book
it's a
twice.
show, okay.
It is absolutely fantastic. It has a couple of guys from Game of Thrones in it.
Oh.
If you remember them, but it's a really high quality show.
You mean so? Hold on a second. You mean you didn't spend your time watching this movie this weekend? I'm trying to find an image. Here it is. Mean Girls from 2024. You mean you didn't watch this movie this weekend like I did? You know what I'm saying?
So it's a new one, eh?
It's a new one. It's like a musical. It's actually pretty good.
No, but
I mean, it's not really, but my daughter
okay, let's
liked
be real
it, my wife liked it.
Well, let's be real for a second. The original Mean Girls movie. That's a funny movie.
Yeah,
I
but it
love
had Lindsay Lohan and all that stuff. Well, that's why we
Tim
watched
Meadows was hilarious in that.
both.
Like
He's in this one too.
Oh, well, I'll watch it then.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
My daughter's
it's
probably
fun.
not into it yet, but I'll watch that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. That's what we were doing there. So that.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
What's up, Rob?
My earpiece is not. Well, I come back and I can't get my earpiece connected.
Maybe you're losing your hearing.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hoodie every day. Hoodie every day. All right, back over to. Back over to the desk.
She never fixes my mic.
I very much concur. Have you seen that Three Body Problem?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Really?
Fabian was telling me about it last week, so I need to check that
Yeah,
out.
no, it's really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Very well written, very well done. Apparently they spent 20, I don't know, Neil, maybe you can confirm this. They spent 20 million per episode on that show. That's what I heard anyways. It's really well done. If they did, it's very, very well done. Very visual, very, very well done. I just was looking at DJT here. DWAC, for anyone who was also on vacation last week. Down 4 1/4, coming back through 59 there, though there was a little bit of a volume spike. I didn't see anything worth noting. I was going to mention here, we're going to have Michael Noss come in and talk about it's his favorite type of Monday because it's the start of a brand new month, so he has monthly candles to look at. And he's raring to go here, so we're going to have Michael Noss jump in here. But I want to mention real quick, Chinese ADR is pretty active here in the pre-market, coming off delivery numbers. There's NIO, the best off, 2.2%. And I mean the best off in the sense of volume. Pretty active so far this morning. Li Auto, 100,000 shares. XPEV is about 240, so NIO definitely the most active here. As I mentioned when we came on, about 20% to the upside for delivery numbers for all three, basically. I mean, they're very, very similar. If you zoom out to a daily chart, though, all of these look kind of like this, still straight to the downside. So yes, they're higher, but this move is not really significant as far as the overall perspective is concerned. As I mentioned, let's bring in Mr. Noss here on a holiday Monday. I mean, it's a holiday, but it's not a holiday. I don't know, it's bank holiday, I guess.
That's all that matters.
Are banks closed in Halifax where you are?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. When the market's open, that's all I care
That's
about.
all that. That's all that matters. But as I teed it up, Mr. Noss, we get brand new monthly candles. It's very exciting.
Absolutely. So yes, as a technical analysis nerd, this is my favorite time of month where I get all new monthly candles to show you guys and some interesting things that I've seen in them as well. So the first one we'll just get right off the bat. I have a lot of charts. I don't want to take a lot of your guys' time, so I'll go quick. So the first one here is just the S&P 500. And yes, it looks even like on a monthly chart that we may be getting a little bit extended. And I think it's 6 months. 5 months, 5 months up in a row now. But what I did is I just zoomed out a little bit on the chart, which is the point of looking at monthly candles, and showed the other times that we were up this much. I know I did this, I think last month or the month before with you guys, showing that in every time that we're up 4 or 5 months in a row, yes, sometimes there's some consolidation, some resting, something like that. But it's generally never right before a giant market collapse, except 2020, which was a little bit of an outlier. So that was very interesting. Again, I don't think anyone needs me to say that this is a bull market and this is very bullish to be up this much in a row. But looking under the hood from month to month, I did see some interesting things. So we're going to go through, and the next chart is just a zoomed in version of this same chart, just showing, hey, yes, we are up many months in a row, but I want us to focus on the last candle that happened right there. The last month's, obviously, so that'd be March's candle, how we closed pretty much right near the highs. That's going to be kind of the focus, I think, for this presentation. So in the next chart, we're going to take a look at is the Qs. Now you can see way stronger of a month if we're focusing on that last month. Had a little bit of a doji, we could call it, or a spinning top, where the close and the open are right near each other. It has a little bit of a topping tail, a little bit of a bottoming tail, showing that there wasn't nearly as much movement as there was in the S&P 500. So if we go to the next chart, zooming in a little further, this is semiconductors and SMH. You can see a pretty big topping tail there on the month, showing that we had this massive push sometime mid-month and then a nice pullback. And again, I like to reiterate, I'm going through these monthly charts because for me, this is the best way to get a kind of lay of the land or an overall theme of what we might see going into next month. And then obviously zoom in and do execution on lower time frames than this. But this topping tail is showing me that, yes, okay, the SPY is up. It had a great month. The Q's a little bit less great. And then semiconductors, a little bit less great again. So just some of the big names I have here under the hood. The first one here is Meta on the next slide. And we have Meta actually closed down on the month with another big topping tail. The next slide here is Apple. Not a good looking month at all for Apple. Maybe some support coming up, but just focusing on that last monthly candle doesn't look too great. Next one here is NVIDIA. So together, these three companies make up probably 20% of the overall S&P 500. So how is it that semiconductors didn't do so hot and that Apple, NVIDIA, and Meta didn't do so amazing, but the S&P 500 closed right at highs? I think we might be starting to see some of this rotation that I've been talking about. So the next chart here is the RSP. Just a quick explanation of the RSP. S&P 500 is a cap-weighted index, which essentially just means that the larger the company, the more of an impact it has on the market. Apple being, 6% of the entire S&P 500, with, making up more than, I think, the bottom 10% of the entire index. RSP is the exact same names as in the S&P 500, but they're equally weighted. So it means that whether you're the biggest company or you're the smallest company, you get the same weight in this index, which means your price movement will have the same effect of the movement in this market. And we just saw a new monthly all-time closing high and a breakout on the RSP. So this, when you see the SPY moving and the RSP moving like this, it makes me think that the little guys, the guys under the hood, are starting to move as well. So we've seen the big guys starting to struggle, and then we've seen the little guys here with the RSP starting to catch up. This is great for us that are stock pickers, and at Trade Ideas, we scan the market for you. This is just what we do. This rotation is something that I've been looking for a long time, and I think with this monthly candle, I can finally say, hey, it's looking like it may happen. Now, the last chart I have here is DBC. So this is just the overall Invesco commodities ETF. So this has oil and gas and wheat and coal and everything. I think Jim Rogers says if you drop it on your foot and it hurts, then it's in this index. And it's starting to hold this very important number at about 21 or 22 and coiled up and had a nice strong month last month. I think this is the rotation that we're seeing where people are starting to take money out of semiconductors and out of the Mag 7 or the Mag 4 or whatever it's calling it now, and looking for places for that money to go, which is great because, again, it's kind of boring just holding the top names that I've been holding for a while. I've been waiting for this kind of moment to try to find things under the hood to buy. And commodities, I think, is going to be a good place to look. So on the after-hour show, I'm sure me and Sean will have a little bit of a chat about commodities. Maybe we'll find some good names to take a look in there as well.
attention being paid to, as you so very, very well described there. The SMH specifically, semiconductors specifically, and that big tech end of the market. If we shift focus downward, even as you mentioned, like the Russell and some of the mid cap names, even from a volume standpoint, maybe this is something we can revisit at another date. From a volume standpoint, do we see more volume coming into that area of the market in these types of conditions where, as you said, you have 4 or 5 months in a row and then you get that kind of sideways price action? Is that when typically we see some of those other areas of the market get more attention?
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually spent a bit of the weekend reading a study, and this study essentially the CMT that wrote this idea was that if you invest in money based off dollar volume, or if you invest in stocks based off dollar volume in the or in the NASDAQ, I think it was, and you rotate into the higher dollar volume. So for the users, dollar volume is just the amount of volume that takes place times by the price of the stock. So how much money is being traded on a stock each day, and you ignore price entirely and just rotate your portfolio into high dollar volume names, you seem to outperform the market in the long run. So I think you're right, Brendan, where essentially what's going to happen is that as people are starting to sell these other ones, we're going to try to see what names they're rolling into. And I think volume and I think price is going to be the best way to look. Because if we can figure out what the big guys are buying next, I think that's going to give us the best return and the most alpha over the next couple of months.
Yeah, it's been a strange year already in the sense that, and you just showed Apple, the monthly chart not looking great. Some of the bigger, heavy-ended tech names not looking great at this point. Mr. Noss, as mentioned, back with Sean after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
Talk to you then.
All right,
yes, sir. Good to have Michael on. It should be fun because the one thing, and it's actually got mentioned on the podcast as well. So check that one out. Fantastic discussion, I thought, and we always talk about day trading because we're day trading live for you guys every single day. That said, there was a discussion about swing trading and different styles. Right. And when we talk about market breadth and finally some new opportunities for things that look like they can be trending to the upside. So DBC, I just like that analogy. If it drops on your foot,
I know. I like that one too.
And it
I was
hurts.
thinking about it. It's like, okay, a brick, yep.
I'm like, okay.
Bar of something, yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. But you're starting to see some other things really go. I know there's even a conversation about IWM.
Yeah, I mean, gold
breaking out. Gold makes sense because
I don't think IWM.
When we start having more certainty with regards to the cuts that are coming in June, like that's going to make sense for gold to continue its rally. But I love the look on the higher time frame because we'll show you setups that might involve, hey, this is trending, it's in a breakout phase, but then we're going to day trade it anyways. And maybe you just go long for 3 or 4 days in a day trade, but there's some swing ideas out there as well. And the volume that you might see in a DBC, that's a swing trading name. You're not going to find, this is not going to give you the volume to day trade, right? So you're not, I don't want to say never, but you wouldn't see Sean or I trading this. There's ETFs that are out there you can trade, but it is in a clear consolidation breakout pattern. And that's why you look at something on a different strategy setup.
I'm working on this right now for people asking about it. I think that there's something here. Today's a little bit of a funny day. Like the headlines aren't like huge and there's not like really any individual catalysts. But if we're going to talk, and we'll get to some, get the watches.tradertv.live. There's 5 or 6 ideas right there. Plus there's some economic numbers and all that coming out. Make sure you go grab that watchlist.tradertv.live. But what about uranium? Like power is going to be such an issue moving forward with all these electric vehicles obviously need to be charged. All these GPUs and everything just continuously draining power supplies all around the world. I mean, you missed the trade because you'd have to go back, not even that far, but even back into last year where you based out here. Last October, this is not a play where you'd say, oh my God, this is well up against the equity markets. That's never going to be the case. But just against, a general, maybe a safety play here in uranium. I know we want to look at a little bit of names, but this could be the one. We talk about IWM. This is a weekly chart right now for uranium, and something that's not breaking out that I think we're going to have a case for moving forward is the use. We could look at lithium charts as well. They're a little bit lower, but this uranium breakout at 32. So right now you're at 30, or no, sorry, not even there. You're at 29 So I think a break up here at 32, you still got 10% to go. But anyways, a chart to look at there, uranium. And it just comes to my mind because Michael's talked about that for quite a while here on the show as well. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk or to the screen. We're going to go to the screen with the Darab.
Yeah, a couple interesting names here in upgrades and downgrades. A few smaller names here. Premier Financial Corp getting an upgrade here from Hovde Group. Bloom Energy trading up about 4.5% after this upgrade from Evercore ISI. And BofA Securities upgrading both TransUnion and Healthpeak here today. So couple upgrades here from BofA Securities. In terms of downgrades, Texas Capital Bank shares getting a downgrade from Truist Securities. They also got downgraded this morning from Mizuho, so a couple downgrades here for that name. Landos getting a downgrade here from HC Wainwright. Cognizant getting downgraded by Susquehanna. And Dynatrace trading down over 1% after this downgrade here from Needham, guys.
So that list of upgrades and downgrades.
Everyone I said not much catalyst.
No, the only pivot I can make from that, outside of, hey, there was a downgrade on Palantir last week, and on Friday it had a big move. So I think Palantir is on my radar. It's on my list. But as Adair is doing that on the green screen, sorry to go back to a story. I was just on vacation. I got vacation stories. But we were at a children's museum one of the days where was it? It wasn't in Tampa. Maybe it was in... Maybe it might have been in Clearwater. It doesn't really
in Florida.
Doesn't matter. One of the cool things they had this like green screen set up where you could pretend to be like a weathercaster or like a newscaster. And my daughter was in love with it. And then I said to her, I'm like, sweetheart, at Daddy's office when we went there, there's a gigantic one that's like 1,000 times better because it was keyed wrong, everything looked terrible. Yeah. And then I showed her like an Adara one. Like we get back onto my phone, I'm like, this is Adara in front of it. And she's like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. So she basically thinks that our green screen is magic and the greatest thing of all time. So next time she's here, I'll have to get her on that.
Yeah.
But no good upgrades and downgrades, but Friday, Palantir. Like this is the one I'm watching. And like Palantir has been a great story and a great mover. But right now, today, it is on monster support. And if it doesn't hold, you could have a big leg, or probably in a consolidation phase potentially, but you could have a big leg down. So Palantir, if we come to the daily chart, they got awarded a contract as they always do, but then there were a couple of downgrades, I think, on Friday, and it fell hard through the 24 level. If you peel this daily chart up, this is that February 22 bottom. So that's a big level. When it broke last time, this 24, it held 2280, 23 area. So you got only a wick bottom into that 22. If you break this consolidation down, I think it's clear shot to 22 from here. And I even look back at this 23.5 zone if it pops into that range, it still looks a little bit bearish unless it's getting above the 23.5. So if you don't have a ton of catalysts in terms of fresh news, so let's just say not a bunch of upgrades and downgrades trade off, not a bunch of earnings, and you come into the week. Well, what you should do is go back and, what are the patterns that were there before? Like, what were the things that had catalysts last week that will have continuation? Where can I expect the volume to be? So it's big volume day in Palantir on Friday. It's at some key levels. It was in play on that Friday. So you come in on a daily today, well, then this is going to be a stock. I keep saying Friday, but it's Thursday. It was last Thursday because Friday was a holiday. You come in and you want to trade something like a Palantir. And I think that's what you have to do on days where there aren't a lot of independent names with fresh news, is go back and look at the things that you can trade off of the day before, 2 days before, key price levels, expectation of some extra volume, instead of trying to force the issue where there isn't anything happening. So Palantir is going to be on the radar for those reasons. Unfortunately, the look is going to be to the short side. It would have to cover that 2350 area up here and start breaking out for me to like the long.
Yeah, I'm almost. I think I've got a couple good ideas here. We're going to talk about some of them. I really like Alibaba to the long side, and I was just looking at this because Michael Noss talked about this Meta putting a red candle on the month. You know, Meta rate here over the last 5 days has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into this level of 484. So this is pretty interesting because, you know, like we could sit here and say the market's still holding on, and it is. But if it loses it, I mean, Meta's already up here at 520. It's already rejected that like 3 times. And now you're going to come down here and you've basically held this. every time you've rejected, you've come down and held it. So here's the last time. We're going to see if it holds this 484. I feel like playing a bump into something around here, even Friday's high or open, I guess, of 495 would be a decent short opportunity as well for Meta. So I think we want to stay short Meta. I've got a couple long ideas. We just talked about that with Alibaba. We'll look at Tesla as well. But again, watch us on tradertv.live. We've all got our little things going on here, and I'm about to put up the sticky note in a couple seconds.
There we go. As I was mentioning, we've been talking about how positive the retail sector has been over the past little while, apparel names specifically. Here's Guess. On a daily chart, this thing has been absolutely ripping through to 33, up another 3% here this morning. Not a lot of volume behind this, it's worth noting, but 200 million worth of a share repurchase program coming through for Guess today, gapping higher.
Yeah, apparently too, I'm seeing here their earlier program from 2021 ran out on February 3rd, 2024. So this is this new program here. They also issued roughly $12.1 million of additional 3.75% convertible notes for 2028, and then another $14.6 million of existing 2% convertible notes due 2024. So a couple announcements here coming through for GES.
Yeah, not a name we talk about very often, guys, but it's been up and away since that last earnings.
You know, what's interesting is this is exactly, we've said this a few times ourselves, where you've had some just really good looking retail charts, like not retail stock.
That Abercrombie.
And the charts of them have been just fantastic, and you don't realize, we're always talking about tech, and this is another thing that came up on the podcast was, well, you know, you're used to trading tech stocks for these explosive moves, and you don't want to touch things like those retail, but A&F has been going gangbusters. You had a big move, and then obviously you're going to get an outsized move here, and you're getting a continuation. So you're not going to, I don't think you're getting $4 or $5 moves out of this at this particular point. But it's 4 days up in a row. You're in the midst of a breakout. You've got a 26% short float here, which it feels like every retail name we pull up has that kind of a short float. The only downside I'll say is not a lot of pre-market action. Like, it's got a 30-cent spread right now, 45,000 in volume. But you don't want to ignore stocks when they're doing this. It's going to likely open up trying to take out last week's highs in and around this 32, 32 and a half. And so when you see the trend forming like this, you need volume to kick in and see buyers above that top. But if it happens and you're above that 33, well, there's always room to run. Again, short float matters. You know, short float, low float, those are catalysts that you want to pay attention to in the markets. And if you've been ignoring retail names, then you've kind of been missing out on some of the bigger rallies here. So it's worth having on the radar. Anything gapping up should be on the radar, but I want to see volume come in at the open. You know, if you're swing trading this, you're already laughing. But if you're going to day trade it, let's see the volume come in and confirm buying above this 32.5 area, and then GES becomes a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, it was kind of like what we talked about before with some of these names that just keep getting, talked about here. But Abercrombie, another one of these names with a decent short flow, but that just kept on going up and away. And it bounced off the 50-period moving average. I mean, I think it bounced there as well at 115. Then we just bounced again. Earnings are through this name now, so we're done that. We don't have to worry. They had earnings a couple weeks ago. I believe it was that move right here. Then there's the solid bounce. We've seen this with Adobe. We've seen this with a couple other names that have come back in that have been working, and now we're all, I don't know. See, this is funny. I just shouldn't have VWAP on here, but that's the VWAP daily right there. But anyways, nice move. You could see it just all the way up and then all the way back in. So there's the 50 period right there. I like this for a level 118 or so. So if we can dip into 120, something like that for ANF, I believe there's something there as well. So a couple opportunities there to trade. Oh, that's hilarious. I got to talk to Michael Noss. I just tried to open up my Trade Ideas account. It says my ID has expired.
Uh-oh. I just realized I have to update my my oil futures charts and my nat gas. I was on the old
They
contract.
change a little differently, don't they?
Yeah, well, I think I was still on the J for some reason. Because I went to look up.
Oh yeah,
people are talking about Boyle right now,
This is the
and
Jets,
I was like, oh, let me
the
look it
High
up.
Park Jets. People asking me.
Why?
Because we got all the practices in the schedule.
Practice?
Yeah, first practice. I know. You don't think that with a coach like me we would need practice, but we do. So that was the 21st is our first practice.
Nice.
Be excited to see the new team. I've got a whole new coaching staff. We've got 8 new minor players, so it's really exciting. I got another girl on the team for Gia. We were in second last year, but
You got to work on those.
second was
backflips.
acceptable because I was assistant coach. But now
you gotta-
let's make the Jets great again. We're going to do that. We're going to try to level it up, and we're really excited about it. And with that being said, we'll probably come in last.
I'll let that one slide because it's the High Park Jets. But we got to specify High Park. Each time we say positive things about the Jets, let's just.
People assume I'm not talking about football.
No, I'm just saying. I want to clarify this because
I thank the Jets for
when we talk it
taking
up,
Aaron Rodgers. That was
that's
a
fine.
blessing in disguise. Are you kidding me?
we don't like the Jets around here. Although it's April 1st, so I guess
I do really think Breece Hall could be.
I
like Bijan, obviously.
I had
for
this
obvious
conversation with a certain person in our fantasy league who just traded for Christian McCaffrey, and I was like, if you were going to make a move, I would have bought
McCaffrey and Breece Hall are in different.
I know, but I would have tried to get Breece Hall plus. Give me the young up and coming.
Well, yeah,
guy.
obvious. Well,
Like
obviously.
Christian McCaffrey is like Apple.
Remember, the guy that gets CMC,
It's
he's like
great.
either rebuilding and then he's not after next week, and then depends on which way the wind blows.
You want the next guy. Breece Hall is NVIDIA, and
Right.
Christian McCaffrey
Well, I mean-
is like Apple or Microsoft. Is that fair? Something
Well,
like
Breece Hall, no, because Nvidia's sort of
No,
already
yeah,
proved
okay,
it.
fine. He's even younger.
He's more like trying to figure it out, like.
But he's still-
with huge explosive upside.
Yeah.
So what name would that be? Company with huge explosive upside that's kind of there, but not really. I'm not
gotta think about
playing a
that.
game. Like I'm trying to think about what.
I
this
actually
would
am
be.
trying to think
I would think it's Palantir, but I'm.
It's
biased.
probably in that bucket. It's something that will be like, it's getting added to
Benjamin.
indexes, but it's not quite there just yet. Yeah.
Yep, sticky note on its way, but if I keep talking, it won't come out. So
Oleg just says Neo squeeze. Isn't Neo at $4?
Neo Squeeze. Okay, maybe Breece Hall is like one of the EV companies
No.
that potentially could go.
No, don't
Potentially could
let's
go.
not compare a
I'm
guy
not
that
comparing
could
it to a Chinese.
the guy could be the fantasy
That's
RB1
Chinese
this
EV,
year.
That's like.
I don't think Neo's squeezing yet. And here's my thing. A lot of stocks are in this type of a pattern where I know they look depressed, and things that are depressed often give the best breakouts and eventual moves. But where is, let it happen. It hasn't even consolidated off the bottom yet. It tried to do the long consolidation off 5, and then it could have been a breakout off the 5 level above 650. But if it's still in this sideways action down here. Maybe for today, it's obviously holding a double bottom here. Maybe you get a bit of a run and get to 480, something like that. Yeah, deliveries and all that good stuff. But I want to see this consolidate and break levels to the upside. I think Baba's in the same vein. There's day trades to be had in this, but it's still very much in that consolidated bottom phase. Now, when this holds the 50 period and breaks the 200, I think that's when you're going to see, it goes $20 in a week, and then it does $15 the next week, and I think what everyone's looking for. But some of these stocks aren't there yet. The EV names are certainly in that category. And if you try to anticipate breakouts and rallies off big, long swing breakouts, you're just going to be sitting there. You're pissing money away, because when a stock is finally going off of a bottom, if Neo goes from $5 to $25, you have to ask yourself as a trader, if it does go to 25, I'm just throwing that number out there. Who cares whether you started going long? Once it breaks 7, even if the move halts at 14, there's going to be some solid days of trading in there. But if you try getting in and all the mess, that's where you run into trouble. These things need to give you a reason to get into them. And I'm talking about specifically EV names and specifically some of the Chinese ADRs. And they're still in that consolidation phase in terms of a real squeeze happening.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here this morning as you head towards the open on Monday. Happy April 1st. I didn't even realize it, but it's April Fool's Day today. TraderTV.live, you'll get that pop-up that you just saw. Enter your email address or scan that QR code as well. We'll get you there. Are you a April Fool's believer?
I'm not sure. The biggest thing I saw this morning on Twitter, someone put, "It's not April Fool's Day." I guess that was their April Fool's joke. So I think, we'll see.
Valid. Kind of lame, yeah. Let's get into, as I mentioned, everything else we need to know here to kick things off. On a Monday morning, Tesla has given back most of this early gap with a move back down in the market, but I just noticed we are trying to bounce here a little bit. Nothing major as far as news this morning, but we are getting a $1,000 uptick for the Model Y in the U.S. once again. I mean, this is Elon just continuing his trend that we saw last year. With these price adjustments on an ongoing basis. There was also this note that I saw, $1,000. If you invested $1,000 in Tesla when the Model 3 was announced, apparently it was April 1st, 8 years ago. It's not good. I won't even bring it up. Anyways, anything on Tesla here?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. They unveiled it on April Fool's. I wasn't aware of that. But in terms of other things to keep in mind here with this company, apparently one of their executives here on Sunday explained that there's going to be a delay in full self-drive version 12 rollout for Model S and X because they don't want to give some false precision with regards to timing. So a couple updates here with regards to that full self-drive. I think the bigger thing here with Tesla, though, is we have to keep in mind we are expecting those delivery numbers to come soon. So we got the Chinese EV delivery numbers, and I think some people are expecting these Tesla delivery numbers to come, especially last week. We had some analysts revising down their targets for those. So very, very curious to see how those come out.
Yeah, typically it's kind of strange. Typically we get, and it might have been because of the holiday, we get Tesla on the weekend. Sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday, they just appear. Just to recap though, 484,507. That was the last quarter of 2023. So Q4 2023 was 484,507. Yeah, a lot of people are expecting this number to be lower than that. But here we are, still positive, guys, for a Monday for Tesla.
Slightly positive, and if you're hoping that Tesla is going to go up today, look, I'm not saying it can't go up. Let's get that out of the way. However, the trend is your friend. And been looking at this trending down since mid last year, right? And until it breaks that trend, I think a lot of times it's just easier to go with it. So, it seemingly failed a 180 break. Again, I wasn't here trading, so I can only look at what I saw above the 180 level on the chart. And if I kind of, let's just throw a line in there randomly at 180. It doesn't really matter where it is. But if you look at this, trying to break out above that consolidation you saw on the daily chart there. So there's the pop, breaks it out. Great. If you were long, you probably made a few bucks in that trade. Nothing wrong with that as a day trade. And then lower high. And then on Thursday, that lower high fails the exact 180 level and drops to 175. Right? So if you're still working with that trend, then I think I'm looking to short pops. The 178 area would have been afternoon resistance, so I think I have that down. Yeah, 178, 178.5, and then the 180 are levels I'd be looking to short pops on Tesla. So until it breaks the trend, I still think I'm going in the other direction. Price hike's good, obviously, when they can pass that on, because you want to improve margins, but we've been down this road before. And until Tesla shows me a little bit more strength, maybe closing and holding above the 50 period on the daily, that would be a good sign. It's still, to me, in this consolidation off of a lower high, and that just means look for shorts. So 178, 180 are the two levels I'm looking for on Tesla.
Yeah, I just tweeted out there Tesla. So Tesla was an idea, and again, it is off the watch list, so make sure you check that out. We just talked about 178, looking to see if we could stay under 180, short until we break it. So that's an idea that we have here on the sticky note right now today is going to be a Tesla short 178. And again, I feel like Tesla could still go. I'm not trying to be here. That's Meta. Meta's on there as well. We talked about that. I still think Tesla could go. I mean, I'm not trying to be too bullish or bearish on this name. It's just there's 178. We got up to there on Friday, and then we just failed off of it. I think it's worth it. We started the day thinking that 180 was going to be a good short on Tesla on Friday, on Thursday. But again, straight down. I just wrote down there, be patient. That's a $5 move to the downside, but then look where we bounced off of 175. So I feel like just a day chart is telling me a lot of information here from a 1 minute chart alone just on Thursday. If you zoom this back out to a 20 minute, there's the 200 period moving average on a 20-minute chart, which is at 175. But see what I mean? It really hasn't meant anything there. So what I'm going to try to play is I want to be short until we really get under 180. Until we get above 180. So that's going to be a level here that I'm going to going to look at. I feel like let's get this party started at 178, and then if 180 breaks, then let's get out of that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here for Tesla. It is up on the day. I feel like it's with the market. Actually, it's better than the market. So yeah, we could be off on this one. I'm going to wait for it. But what I'm doing with the sticky note now is I'm more, because again, thanks Nimit, and thank you to a lot of the traders out here that keep mentioning it. It's like we look back at this and it's like, okay, they're right. You know, we had 175, I think, or 176. Shout out to Big Patty Ice over there here as well. We had a long, and I can go find the sticky note. Actually, it's right here. Yeah, it's right here. It's actually from Thursday's long. Look, 176 long. We wrote down Tesla on Thursday. Right? Well, look what happens. Remember when this came in here and then we touched 175.50 and I think we got out when it broke through 176. But realistically, the market was opening up here at 179. We wrote down 176 long and that was basically the bottom. I mean, 175.50. You know, so you got to give yourself, but I was in a problem because remember I started to buy it into this dip and then we had too many shares. So we got to be very, very careful. I think like I said, we still made money on it, but we have to be very, very careful where we're going to be loading up on these names. So again, let's do that 178 short, 180 if we get up there. And then if we break that, then we can probably see something potentially parabolic like this happen. So let's be careful with the 180 short, but I like it as an idea.
All right, Microsoft next on the list here, holding on a little bit better to its gap so far this morning in the pre-market versus some of the other big tech names. There's a couple of different angles here that we can talk about, teaming up with OpenAI for some data center work. That's what's on the list there. But I was reading through this note this morning as well. If you are a Premium Plus member, or the top tier, whatever it is, the paid top tier on X, you're going to get the next version of Grok rolling out this week to certain users of X that pay for the top tier. So that's kind of interesting to keep an eye out for. There's also a note suggesting Zuckerberg at Meta has been taking some AI talent, not only from Google, but also from Elon over at X. So we were just talking with Michael Noss about Meta's chart there, a little bit of a reversal at the end of last month, but Microsoft relatively strong so far this morning.
Yeah, and I mean that reading more into that Microsoft and OpenAI potential partnership on Stargate, that U.S. data center is really interesting. Apparently I'm seeing here too, because of the amount of power expected, they would likely require Microsoft and OpenAI explore some alternative power sources, which could potentially include nuclear power. So there's a lot of really interesting implications for what's happening here potentially with this data center story. It's also worth noting that they're apparently midway through phase 3 of 5 phases, according to the initial report from the intervention. So yeah, lots of interesting stuff coming out of this data center potentially.
420 was the level that it held late in the day on Microsoft, held late in the day on Friday. And I mean, we have to take this with a grain of salt. Very light trading on low volume. I mean, volume pretty low here this morning as well, but gapping up from MSFT.
Yeah, you know, I have a distrust for anybody that names something Stargate, because if anybody knows that show or that movie, I have some serious issues with the intelligence level of the government in that movie. And I'm just saying, if like this fancy gate gets set up, let's turn this thing on and just go through it and see what the heck happens. I can't imagine why anyone would drop a nefarious transportation device and basically dare you to go through it. It couldn't possibly be some kind of an alien invasion. No chance of that. But anyways, like for Microsoft, it's like 420 or bust for me today, that's going to sound boring because, quite frankly, I think it is. Microsoft has been the last week. I looked at every single day that I was gone, and like look at how clean some of these levels are. Like, okay, fine. So you make that 430-ish top up there, fail, up at the 430 top, and then like super clean resistance there. And then when it drops another level down, like super clean 426 bottom, 426 resistance, 426 resistance. Then it double bottoms at 19 and then holds 420 on Thursday. So, unless it's going to give me a trade off of those, there's a maybe at 422. Like, look at these levels, how they're sort of setting up on this 15-minute. So a maybe at 422, but if it gets down to this 1920 area, look for a long off that. Because when I see that start to happen, and you have range-bound stocks that are not super volatile in this particular, I guess, time in the market, then you really, as Sean was saying with 174 with Tesla, you really just have to be patient. And if that's the level to work off of and it doesn't get there, well, then you don't have to trade it. And if it does get there, well, then you want to make sure when it starts to set up, gives you the double bottom that you're looking for, or gives you the consolidation, then you just get into the long off of that level. So it'll be a patience play for me on Microsoft. You can throw all the upgrades you want at it. It is a nice upward trend, but it is a slow, and a lot of these charts look like this on the Mag 7, or the ones that are strong. It is a slow grind off these tops. I mean, Amazon looks pretty strong too, but it's at a huge level on the weekly, and these names have had some trouble going that next level up, right? So yes, you're still grinding higher. Yes, Amazon looks like it could be in the midst of another break. Microsoft, maybe a bit of a dip into the next break, but you got to wait for your levels, because if you try chasing it $1 early and the stock has a $2 range, there's almost no way to win in that situation. You've got to get it at the good price. So it's the 420 for me on Microsoft.
Yeah, I think you might.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we actually have we have the better one. We have the Weed Batman. I need to get that Weed Batman number because I like that. I like to throw that down.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one.
It's not that one.
We had Valeria Batman for a minute as well, but there it is. Fabian, slip into my DMs with those notes on that one, okay? Okay, so I think all those levels are right. I mean, there's really not much else to say about Microsoft. I feel that, if there's any name that maybe has a moat around it for now, it would be this. And I don't think just because of chat. I mean, I think everything that they're doing is working. So, there's that. Everyone's talking about, Copilot and all that. That's not going anywhere. Like, once you're signed up for it, you're signed up for it. That's nice. Grok. Come on, Grok. Really? So, I mean, I don't know what's going on there with AI or anything like that. I mean, I just feel that, like, Perplexity, we saw Anthropic, Amazon drop money into that name. It's theirs, but in more of an investment, $2.75 billion into Anthropic the other day. So I just feel like if there's going to be a name that I think is going to work the best today, it's probably Amazon out of all these names. I know Neil dropped that. So that's something that I think could work off 180. I'd actually prefer a 180 dip. They're both the same, but I think a dip in Microsoft to 420, fine. And then because we're not going to talk about Amazon, a dip to Amazon into 180, I think is actually potentially even better because a 180 is already broken out here on the daily. But playing dips is safer, especially in a market where we're not 100% certain what's going to happen today. I mean, the ES is going red, and so is the NASDAQ. So in a day where I started the show off, and you guys know that when we went live, I said, and I think we were both sort of not convinced. And it was just like, I'm not sure what this market's going to do today. And that's why I was trying to wait to see if we had some better ideas here for the sticky note. I think we found some great ones. But Amazon down at 180 is another interesting name. Yo, what's up, Kevin Mendoza? I'm here for winners and stuff.
Mendoza.
What is Neil drinking? I believe it's coffee for now. And then...
I mean, it could be something else.
That's what I'm saying, I believe. I mean, it's up to you to drop the knowledge. And then right now, Rivian also...
It's coffee.
Look at Rivian move. Look at move.
Oh God!
What was up with that? So a big move up, a big move down. So we have to watch out for this kind of nonsense on Rivian. Look at this move up straight away early on Friday, then it moved completely down. So this is a name I have on my radar, and I'm not even really sure why. It just has a lot of moves, and it's only $11. Another name. We got to go because we're on time here. But of course, Brendan's probably like, yeah, shut this idiot up. Actually, there was a good TikTok.
We already talked about Palantir.
Okay, good. So it doesn't seem like Brendan's that mad, so I'm just going to keep going. It didn't seem, we had that TikTok where Fabian put me in a garbage bag. Fabian, I thought at the end of that, maybe we can show it, you were going to throw me and then I would appear on the chair. What? But then you left. I mean, then I left. You don't have any video of me? Like, there's so much video of me sitting in that chair. Oh, continuity. Okay,
it's actually more funny.
I was talking to Fabian.
No, when there's no continuity, it's actually funny. That would have been jokes.
You weren't here last week. Every time Ramin got mad at me, she sent the henchman over here, and Fabian would like get me and stuff like that. So I feel like this maybe I'm trying to turn a new page. There he is. There he is.
All black with it.
My two favorite people around here. Adara and Brendan back to the desk.
Good save. Yeah. Bitcoin. Let's get going here. Bitcoin downside initially this morning. We're trying to bounce right now, but we did have an initial move higher in some of the related equities this morning. MSTR, there was a couple of analyst notes on, once again, another measly 5.5% for MicroStrategy here in the pre-market.
Yeah, one thing too I think is really worth noting is I'm reading this CoinDesk article here basically mentioning that at this point Bitcoin is a little bit higher, but studying ahead of the halving, which this CoinDesk article expects will happen around April 20th. So a couple weeks until that halving event. So definitely something to keep an eye on if you are following any of these cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, that'll be the next point in time that we'll have to keep an eye out for. I mean, we're trying to hold that low end of the range from last week right now, guys, for Bitcoin.
So I kind of like, okay, we'll see. I don't think we get a breakout today. So maybe just get that one out of the way. But I have IBIT up, and that's what we've been trading. I know some people want to trade spot or coin or Mara, but ever since the ETFs come in, the more I look at this, like the more interesting it is to just look at IBIT and 41. So whether you talk about individual prices on the spot, or I'm going to give you the prices on IBIT because this is the best vehicle I've seen for volume to trade. And if it can get to that 41 level, it's a good, solid consolidation breakout for it. Not as your resistance until you're not. So I'm looking for us to get back there and take out that top. Now, the other play which worked before I left, the play that was working was looking for any kind of a false break off of a level, up or down, and then get into the short after that. So like you'd see a break that fails and then go short underneath. That's a setup as well off of 41. But ideally, we could go grip and rip it at that price. So I want to be very, very patient. I don't know why I have 37.5 marked off here, but I'm sure I had a good reason for it. And if we get down to that price, I'll probably think about it then. But the 41 level here on IBIT, and whatever it happens to correspond with on Bitcoin, doesn't really matter to me. I like trading this like a stock.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that I thought Bitcoin, I was actually talking with some people over the weekend. I thought Bitcoin had a chance to go through the roof this weekend, but it didn't. So we'll wait for that. I just want to show this was my weekend, involved a lot of this, hockey. The one thing that I'm most proud of, so this is my daughter right here. She's the youngest on the team. And if you go, anyway, this is on Twitter. You know, youngest on the team, and she's the one yelling and screaming here, Dolphins and some sort of chants, everything like that. So that means a heck of a lot to me. Here's my other son here. He won his semifinal game and is off to the finals as well. So he got treated to a Dairy Queen. So shout out to Berkshire there. Oh yeah. All right. So Dairy Queen, you know how much a damn blizzard is?
I haven't had a blizzard.
You want to talk about a blizzard?
I haven't had a blizzard in a while.
719.
Really?
For a small blizzard. 719. There's my wife.
They still have the hot dogs there?
Yes, yeah, they still have everything there. But I just took them there. I didn't even get anything. Look at this dude here. Somebody in the audience with a megaphone at one of the games. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? There's Kanal. Thank you, Kanal, for coming through. It was a great little podcast. Go check that out. Everyone's talking about that. Under an hour. Go listen to another trader with some different ideas. So I feel like that's pretty cool right there. Look, Mara's been really rocking, honestly, to the top side. We talked about this $17, $18. We'll figure out what's going on with it. I mean, again, a lot of the market got faded out there Thursday afternoon before the long weekend. So no difference there for Mara. Again, over the 50 period, I think this is a good long. I'd rather wait for 20 bucks because, again, remember, you got all this garbage out of here and boom. Now I'm wondering about all this nonsense underneath 20 bucks here. I'd wait for Mara to fall down a little, but I think patience is going to be key right here. Let's go back to the desk and talk about Palantir.
Yeah, not much new on Palantir. There's a couple of positive notes coming off that new contract back on Friday. So worth noting. I mean, it is positive here this morning. I think more people may be interested right now anyways in NEO. I was just glancing through these again. Still NIO doing the most volume here, already over 1 million shares coming off delivery numbers for NIO, XPEV, and Li Auto. All three pretty positive, about 20% to the upside. That's nowhere near some of the numbers on the increase side of things that we've seen in the past.
Well, it's interesting too because Li Auto's deliveries actually, from what I'm seeing, increased about 52.9% quarter over quarter, but they fell 39% from the previous quarter. So I have this here, this chart from Chinese EV Post. We did have a big move down here from Q4 2023, but an increase from Q1 2023 here. So year over year increase, but quarter over quarter decrease for Li.
Yeah, always notable. The Monday after we get deliveries, guys, for Chinese EV makers.
Yeah, it's up 2.5%, but like I said, I think the big squeezes have to happen when this really breaks out on the daily, and you're still in this like downward channeling pattern. It's probably in a consolidation phase off the $5 level top and somewhere around the 450 bottom. So I think until you break out of that, you got to go for the inside moves, and the inside move would suggest if it holds on to Friday's, I keep saying Friday's low, Wednesday and Thursday's lows of last week. If it holds on to that, I think there is room for it to, like 480 for sure, because that's that level in here, and then the $5 level can be in play for a bigger move. But right now it's trading in the middle of last week's range. 460 is dead smack in the middle, so I think you look off longs there. If it can't hold on to Wednesday's bottom, I don't think you want to be messing around with this. We've seen these gap up and then fall to the downside after the fact. So I think you got to be a little bit careful with this. The volume is here, so it is worth a watch. It's not super exciting until it breaks $5 maybe, but I think you can still play off of the inside range that it's got here, but wait for those key prices to come in.
Yes, we only have 2 minutes to go. On Friday, we actually called this move about getting long at 23, and I remember looking myself in the face. I was like, "It's at $24. Like, I'm actually going to sit here and wait for it at 23." But we did that. Patience was very, very key on Friday. 23, obviously a very, very key level there for Palantir. I feel like we already talked about NIO and XPeng. Did we? Yeah. Okay. Right. So Palantir over to NIO and XPeng. Okay. Are we going back to the desk before the market opens?
I don't think so.
No, okay, good, okay. Not good, but just we only have 2 minutes now. So, all right, $23 coming through for Palantir. I mean, I think that's a great level. We're there right now, but you are down as this market starts to turn. Well, okay, I thought the market was turning red there, but nice little bounce off of 18.5 is where we're at right now. So we're going to have to wait to see when this market opens, because 18.5 has been such a key level. I mean, here's the futures that we're dealing with right now. You know, there's the move up to 18.6 and a fade again. So we're still not going long too many shares until we get above that 18.6. We've talked about that a little bit. All right, Tesla, we want to see a bump up to 178. We're waiting for that. That could happen. A little bit of a move down for Alibaba, and we'll get long. I'm already bidding 72 change. We'll see if that comes through. We're trying to be a little bit patient here. I like the SMH more than anything else there, up at 230. We'll see if we can get that, which would coincide with an AMD level up at 183. We'll see if that comes through again. NVIDIA going to try to take 900 off the jump. That's a play real early. But I'd rate for... I think if NVIDIA falls, this is a name where unless you have a real good feeling about it, let it, see if it can even get to 880. I know that sounds ridiculous. And then, Neil, one last trade here for me would be Meta. Actually, Meta's holding out. So maybe we do get that Meta up here at 96.
30 seconds to go. I want to lean in. Also, AMD 183 resistance is fantastic on the chart, on the daily chart. It's been hugging that level. If it gets up there, I think that's a fade as well. And oddly enough, Intel has been strong because China issues. Well, then that actually bodes well for them in terms of the Foundry game. But anyways, let's get into it. I like that Tesla were there as well. Adara, it's Monday in 3, 2, and 1. The casino is open. And of course, I mean the market is open. Tesla, for sure, want to have that one for a fade trade. It has to pop up and give us some kind of an entry, though. You do not want to rush. And this is what I was talking about AMD. The 183 level on the daily has been very, very key resistance. Tesla, you're getting a small move up early here, but until it gets into the 178, I don't necessarily love it. I've seen a lot about Nikola in the chat. I have not looked there. NVIDIA is already at 900, by the way. Really?
Yeah, this market, I mean, the market...
It just bounced 900 at 905. $5, like, look at that. It bounced off 900 right into 905, 906. So this could drag AMD up into a potential fade trade.
All right, I'm going to try Apple is the weakest again here. So we're down. We're just breaking through 171 right now, and there goes Apple. So Apple's trying to go downside. I'm wondering if we should just be shorting this immediately right now. I just put an offer out there, but then it broke. So I mean, 171 should have just smashed it. I wasn't like loving that level. You do have a bottom down here of 170.50. I really wanted. I was trying to play off this 171.40, 171.50, but Apple is still so. I mean, it's gone right now. Here, Tesla's gone too. I mean, not gone, but it's just broke through 176. And now it's starting to break through this pre-market level as well. That's probably a try right there, 175 and change. With Tesla breaking lower here, this is a try short. So I'm going to try it right now. We said we'd be patient. It's 931.30 high. All right, so we'll wait to see now. We'll just start. We're starting this. This is what got me in trouble the other day, trying to start early here on Tesla. But we'll do it right now. We've learned our lesson from before. I like the break in the pre-market break here. You know, we'll get out of this one if we take 176.40. Pre-market low break, pre-market high break. That's pretty much what I'm going to be dealing with right now. So 176.50, we're out of Tesla, but we're short for now.
So Palantir came close. It didn't quite get to that 23.5, but it did just reject 23.
Yeah.
And wow, it's already fallen. So flat bottom breaks already happened here on Palantir. I wanted this one to the south side. You heard my opinion on this one, but that is a huge, huge drop already. We're going to try and join this one underneath the flat bottom break on PLTRs. It's absolutely flush city there.
Kablam. There it is right there, guys. It's an immediate dollar winner right there plus. We're at $1.60 now on Tesla. What's up, Miss A?
Keep an eye on this. CX app. CXAI is the ticker for this one. Falling right now, but it was up about 63% right off the open. Really strong volume candle here, announcing a partnership with Google Cloud with regards to the deployment of its CXAI platform. Also worth noting, this one does have a short float of about 10%. So CXAI, one to keep on watch, guys.
AMD yet. Okay, thank you, Miss A. All right, so I told you that we'd be very, very specific today. We like that pre-market break on Tesla there. We took it. Now let's just wait and let's see if there's anything else setting up. So as the market pulled back into there, let's have a double check here on Alibaba.Brazil. No, Alibaba.NY right now. Oh, whoa, okay. Well, there it is right there. I mean, sometimes we can use these. I like to use these levels later on in the day. Wow, Tesla right now, props up to that one, whoever's in there. Now, I'm not trying to be short for too long. I'm going to go look at that. But look at that break there at 73 on Alibaba. Sorry, they're not the break, the hold down there. If that breaks, get ready. I'm still sitting down here for that play. So, look, just real quickly here, because Tesla, see what I mean? Like, I just changed a Tesla and my charts didn't change again. I already have some complaints in about this. All right, so Tesla's starting to go to the downside right here again. We're going to have to look at a bigger chart because, again, my zooming isn't working. All right, 174 coming in, 172. How low can you go? 172, 170. I'm going to take a bid at 173. I mean, that was a gap fill there. So we're going to close that gap. 174 looking like it wants to hold right now. We are short at 175, 60s. So we're $1 plus in the money. We just bounced off 174. All right, fine. Let's put a bid down there at 174. If we can get that, we'll get that. We're only out of 40%. This could still rip in our face. The market is ripping, actually.
Market is looking strong.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I actually just got...
Where's my Apple?
45s on Intel.
Canceling that.
I was mentioning in my notes this morning, I was like 44 on Intel, go grip and rip, because that's been an upward channel, but it just broke out the 45 level. I got some 11s. If it holds 45, great. At this point, I'll look for a place to add on the way to 45.5. If it can't hold it, I look back into the previous high. So that's 44.60. So I'm going to get out if it can't hold on to the 45 area, and then just look to get back into it at 44.6. PLTR might pick me up. We'll see what happens. AMD, I'm going to apologize in advance for the wicks on this chart. 183 is a level, but I got this dark pool wick up to like 240, which is skewing everything. So it's at 181.5 is AMD, and I'm looking to short the 183 level as you're getting a huge move back into the upside here. We talked about Amazon and Microsoft. Amazon is in the midst of a break, so you didn't really get down quite to 180 level, but we're getting there soon. We're getting a breakout now, so I want to play the breakout on Amazon. I just think the chart looks pretty strong here. So 182, any kind of a dip, kind of like that Intel 45 level. That's how I want to play any pullback into 182 here on AMZN. There you go.
AMZN, yeah.
AZM. I have no idea.
The Amazon. Okay, we'll short a little bit more Tesla right here, but again, like we were talking about, you know, that's a big move up. And remember when we were like, hey, we don't know what this day is going to do. Well, it looked short for a minute, and then all of a sudden, hello, this is a monster move up for the NASDAQ, by the way. Like, absolutely monstrous right now. I feel like, anyways, I don't know. All right, Meta's doing Meta-like things. I'm still waiting for this short on Meta. By the way, Tesla's coming back in again. We did reshort that. I mean, I'm going to try to stay true to some of the notes that I had. 496, so there's Tesla right there. We're going to wait for that to come, 495.50. I mean, we could short it a little bit earlier there. I'm going to let, that's Meta. I'm going to let Meta settle down a little bit. I still like that 496 level. So I am at 495.50 if it really gets going. NVIDIA's probably going nuts or
NVIDIA
what?
915 already?
What?
Are you kidding me?
Right,
I gotta keep my eyes on that AMD because I am on the offer. And it's getting close to that 183 level, but you're breaking out this top on NVIDIA. Man, the best thing trade for me before I left was actually NVIDIA breakouts, and then I just didn't want any breakouts today on NVIDIA. So 915's going. Let's sit that one out and think about 910 maybe on a dip. But AMD just pulled, and I said I had to worry about this one as you saw that breakout on NVIDIA. AMD just pulled into 182.5 there. Sorry about the wicks in the chart. I did just try to get rid of them. But I'm short 182.5 now. On AMD. Going to get some bids out at that even level and see if we can't take some up, because this is starting to look pretty strong here. The NASDAQ's 0.5%, and we are churning into that top from overnight and then last week. So I think you want to look for those shorts off these levels. AMD was the first one to come in. Palantir just popped back in 2280, so I'm short that one as well.
Yeah, that's my bad AMD, guys, because I wrote down 183, and I know Neil's got it, but it's pushing that right now, so we gotta watch out. I am short AMD. I am short more Tesla as well. I'm just gonna try AMD against 183. I mean, if we break that, then I've written it down as a level of concern. So if we break through that, then that's going to be a level of concern for me. We're short at 40. I was trying to get a little bit more there in the 80s, but of course it does not fill me up. All right, but what is filling you up for all the shorts you possibly want right now is every single stock. I mean, they're all ripping. So everything's ripping. Here goes AMD. We're out of this one in a minute, guys. This breaks 183. It is like sayonara on AMD because there it is. All right. So
bye-bye.
Good. Actually, a pretty good break there. We're fine with that. But yeah, it's a fail on that one. And we wrote down 183. Happy to take that trade, man. For sure. But, not happy to take the L on it. But here we go. Tesla's still having a little bit of a problem going right now. So I kind of like that again to short in. But the short's been wrong so far. So don't, let's not keep chasing that idea. But before we go to Adara, I just want to show everybody. I know I will look at Google. I know there's a lot of names going off here right now for sure. The NASDAQ's coming up to 18.6 right now. So this is that level that we sort of talked about, and this is why my spidey senses were off a little bit this morning. I couldn't feel why this market wanted to make a major move, and it looks like it doesn't matter. It's just going straight to the upside. What's up, Adara?
920.
Nice move up here for Iris Energy. IREN is the ticker for this one, now up almost 10%. Earlier today, announcing that their 20 exahash per second expansion has been fully funded. This name does some AI and also works a little bit of Bitcoin production as well. So nice look up here for IREN, guys.
Just to show you how explosive that just was on AMD. Like, we're shorting it in this level. My chart's fixed now. It broke that 183 clean and clear to 184.25. So like, this just absolutely woodshedded to the upside. That's why you got to have yourself an out. NVIDIA got to 920 on that move. Maybe it pulls.
We got SMH.
Like, if it gets to like 915 on the backside here, I think it's going to be worth it. I'm in Intel off 45. So that's actually holding the consolidation with a 45.20 top. So I'm going to get an offer out in for 45.20. Amazon just pulled back in as well. So do have a couple of longs. Palantir starting to work. Obviously, if you're short right now, you're under pressure in just about anything. So Amazon dips back into the 182 level. Let me just zoom it out so you can see. Kind of like a double top in there off 182. So I like when resistance turns into support. That's what I'm seeing. Great looking chart for Amazon on the daily. We already went over that. Let's play this back into 183. Look for some VWAP bounces as well. And to ring the register, I guess you just had to find the long because that's what the market is doing right now. It's green, not red.
Yeah, it's definitely green. All right. So it's green and we have two shorts. So right now we're gonna have to wait. We do have SMH short. We did write it down 230. So we're short here at 229.50. I'm fine with that trade for now, obviously, as we come into this. That little wick higher there is 230.53. That's kind of the level that I want to watch out for there. So this is going to be a dollar hold with an average incoming here at some point on SMH. We finally got that meta short as well. So let's just take a little bit of profit if we could take 20 cents quickly. The market's ripping. It's just all the shorts are filling in right now. And the good thing is like we're short, but we're short at like comfortable levels. We're not, you know, we haven't really, the only trade that we really made that was an early out was AMD. And again, that just really got going, like straight up $4. We'll take that. So there it is. Meta, there it is. We'll take a little bit out there as we'll take 30 cents quickly on Meta. We're short at 50s. We just got out there at 20s. So that was a decent fill. Let's see if Meta wants to fill back now. There it goes. Let's go Meta. Nice little move to the downside. We are now at almost $1. Let's take $1 if we can get it down there to 494.50. But right now we're looking at $1 for Meta. SMH continues to go. Everything's just wild right now. I mean, some of the spreads there, like we just had 75 cents on Meta. The spread on Meta is 50 cents.
Yeah.
So you guys tell me. I mean, you're gonna have to get fills, man. You're gonna have to put bids out. And
AMD's got a big spread too.
Yeah, I mean, they're all really going now. Well, yeah, AMD's at 5 or 6 cents. I mean, even Tesla right here with 5 or 6 cents. So I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but we'll still hold this. We're not in trouble. We've got 3 shorts on, but the market is looking at 18.6. So this is kind of, I feel like we picked the good levels here.
You need to wait for the futures to get to that top. So now you get I have a double top here forming on Intel. So we bought back into the 45 level, but you see that double top. It can't seem to break that 20. So the stop now, I'm going to move it. I had it at 90, but you just held the 95. I'm going to tighten that up because if we reject here, then the short thesis off these highs comes right back into play. So we want to respect that. Amazon on the dip buy as well. Couldn't get anywhere near the 183, so that's looking to pull back. Palantir's holding underneath $23, at least for now. So I want to respect the entirety of the afternoon range on Thursday, which gives you 23.25, but I feel like that should be a separate trade. So it breaks down, holds a pre-market top here at 23. If it breaks this, I got to look for another short up there. But Palantir is the only short that I'm still in, and I'm going to give it a chance to continue lower. I'm not really bidding until it gets back underneath that 22.80 level. Want to see if we can get that. Intel is at a big resistance level. That's kind of why I like a chance for it to break through it. But if it can, it's a relatively tight stop here for me on Intel. I'm just sort of responding in the chat there. I saw Admiral saying it's at a resistance at 45. Yeah, but it's trying to punch through it. So I like the upward trend. It is at a big resistance level, but it's a lot of room to the upside if it can hold out this 45.
All right, dollar. So there it is. We just took another $1 there on Meta. So we get that 494.50, right? So we talked about putting a bid there. So there it is right there for Meta. We get that fill at 40. What was it at 4? Was it 40s or what was that fill? 52s. So yeah, there it is. So we get that fill right there on Meta. Let's see if it continues to drop in. We're really starting to print out a little bit right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There it is, man. Face slap that right now, boys and girls. Right there. Let's go back into the end of Tesla and see if we can get going even lower on this name. I'm not sure why we didn't get any there. That's 176.20. I feel like we were trying to be very, very patient with this. And there it is again. Let's go, man. Another face slapper right there for Tesla as we get that into 175 right now. So we cooking with dynamite right now. All right, here we go. We just got SMH again upside. Remember where our stop is going to be. Well, our stop is already there, up at 231 and change. If the SMH continues to run up with names like NVIDIA, I mean, all of them, if they all keep going upside, man, then we gotta watch out now with all of this. But right now, Tesla downside. It's another dollar club right there with Tesla. We're a dollar club trying to get that with Meta. We're trying to see what's up with SMH as we go right now. But we do have in just a couple seconds a few economic numbers. So let's go over to the desk with Adara.
We have some more numbers coming at 10 as well. Right now, though, we only have the S&P Global Manufacturing Final just coming in here, 51.9, so slightly lower here than expected. This 52 number here, previously were 52.2, so slightly lower here from compared to both the previous and the forecast for this global manufacturing PMI number. SPY not reacting too much to this, getting a little bit of a pop-up now, but still up about 0.25%, guys.
Look, we're at that 18.6 level again on the NASDAQ. So when you get to highs, you got to reassess, like, what are we doing? Intel's breaking through that top. So you're starting to punch through at like 44.40s as the next level up. We're going to ring the register again. This market is looking pretty strongish to me. So we got one long, which is working well. A second bounce off Amazon here at VWAP. Wait for it to bounce. I'm actually just about to get on the bid here, so I'm just going to throw the order and then talk. So it bounces off VWAP, so looking for the strength off of that and look to see if it can go higher. Now, Amazon, not nearly as strong as Intel, but up 1% into a 0.7% market. People are asking us to look at ARM.
Is that was
I actually didn't call up a chart of ARM this morning when I was going through levels and going through the stocks to prepare for. But I can tell you the 131 is still the big resistance level. Actually, nothing has really changed. 124 looks pretty good off the bottom. This looks like a potential breakout above 128.5. Okay. But I got my puppies. And it's going to be Amazon, which is breaking back up toward the high, going to get an offer in the mids, the 182.5 area. And then Intel, which is continuing to churn, 2 set upside. Tobias is like, Nicola's going, really? Nicola's strong? Oh, Nicola's short. Okay, thank you. That's why you're excited about Nikola, because you're short Nikola. Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's right back almost at the dollar level. It's like, you can't be thinking this is strong. This just broke support.
Guys, are you? Yeah. Okay, broke support. Okay, yeah. Because
that's not strong.
We are absolutely like, if we didn't have Tesla right now, then we would be getting absolutely like these shorts. But look at what's happening to Tesla. Like, let's effing go right now. Like, one of our number one trade ideas right here just got crushed to the downside as we wait for everything else, man. We are loaded up right now on a couple different names here, including SMH, which is something I don't normally trade. We're getting ready for a move higher here on SMH. I mean, that seems to be definitely breaking out now, but we're going to have to wait. Like, this is the play that we wanted, so let's breathe a little bit and see if it can happen. NVIDIA with a huge move up to 922. I mean, what a move today, up 25, what was that bottom? 9. Wow, bottomed at 9 as if.
It's ridiculous.
As if. Bottoms at 9 exactly this morning, like right away off the open, and then just goes $22. So we'll watch out for that one. And then again, so we might be wrong here. I mean, if we lose on the SMH, we lose on it, honestly. But yeah, with AMD continuing to go, we wrote down 183. Like, honestly, if this thing keeps going, then this SMH trade is going to not work out. As right now, Meta, bang to the downside. What a good trade on this one as well as we start to rock and roll right here. Boom. There it goes. A nice move for Meta. Hey, guys, it's another Dollar Club winner. We've got $1 on Meta, $1.20, $1.30 on Tesla right now. But we are going to lose 75 cents right now because SMH and semis are at highs. So I thought we did well by picking this name, but there it goes, not done well at all as it continues to go to the downside, man. Hallelujah, we have these bigger trades on right now. But SMH does hurt as it continues to go to the upside. We just got taken out, but I think I want to get back in. As of course we get taken out there and it goes down. Let's try one more time on SMH as it does break 50s. So we do take a 70-cent hit there. That's going to hurt. That's my worst stock by far. But right now, let's just see if that was a little bit of an explosion to the upside. Tesla and Meta really working. Like, those are day savers for me because SMH was bad and so was AMD, obviously.
No, AMD it's still actually looking pretty strong, as is NVIDIA. But Palantir working under VWAP finally. So it's starting to come back in here. It held that 23 really nicely second time through. If it gets back up there again, I am trying to add to it. But I waited for it to get under VWAP into the 70s. Now it's starting to pull. The low is actually 22.5. So my next bid is going to be down there to try to take profit. Remember, this is on a big support level. I'm short into this, and if it doesn't hold on to the half, I think 22 even is where you could get to on PLTR. So it's a bit of a flat bottom break, looking for that continuation. But if it regains above 23, just got to get the you-know-what out of Dodge. Amazon does not end up holding on. So the first long was good on Amazon. We're able to get it off VWAP, it goes to $0.50, and then we reload it, it does not hold. But you got to get out of the way of this thing. You know, when you see that kind of a consolidation and tries to break higher, do not hold through the breakdown. Because now it's back at 181, right? So I'm out at 181.80, and seconds later, it's 80 cents even further to the downside. But Intel, no problems. Intel right back up toward this high. Now I have to respect, I said 40s, I was offering 38s. Looks like 35 is that top. So I'm going to get some more out here in the 30s.
Oh, yeah.
But that's holding that 45 breakeout. So Intel's relatively strong like the other chip names. So it is a very chip-driven move. Everything else.
No. We have the biggest name right here. Google is, I think, the
Google.
largest name.
Oh, yeah,
by
Google.
far.
What the hell?
Up 3%.
Yeah, that'll work.
Right now, Google, absolutely. Yes, I mean, my number one holding. We've talked about that over and over and over again in the long-term account. So we are so pleased with this. But I was not like this move off that 200 of 130 all the way up. Like this name is really, really rocking. I bet you there is some smoke there with Google and Apple. What's up, Adara?
I was looking for some news in that Google move. I couldn't find anything, but another name to keep an eye on is Semtech here. SMTC up over 9%, making new highs of days. They had earnings after market close on Thursday, so gotten a couple price rate increases here, including this one from Susquehanna. SMTC, nice moves to the upside, guys.
It was
Google
just the fact that Google and maybe Apple were, Apple had come out and sort of said that, hey, maybe we'll slow down a little bit on AI development and potentially put in Gemini or some sort of a form of a Google AI into some of their new release there that's coming June 29th or something is an announcement. I'll find out that exact date. But there it is. So this could be also helping SMH right now, man. I mean, some of these names just continue to fly up.
No, I mean, this is across the board on the chips. I mean, Micron's at $126.
Nothing is stopping these
Like,
things.
this is, I'm sitting there here looking at, okay, fine, like you're getting another point here on Intel, but Micron's up 6.5%.
What? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's let that
I'm
marinate
shorting
for a little bit.
SMH.
It's almost 7% to the upside on a breakout on Micron. And, the lesson of the day is going to be, I don't want to spoil it already, but it's going to have something to do with your diligence and making sure that you look at it, prepare and look for all the charts. Maybe I'll do something different, but look at the consolidation break on Micron. That's as clean as it gets. It's literally as clean as it gets. 122 break, that was probably pretty easy, but you got to stick to what is working. I'm not going to jump into something brand new. Palantir working back. Oh, it doesn't fill me 95, but you're back into that VWAP. It looks like that is going to be able to fall. I just think if you're looking for the strength, again, it's in the chips, but like everything else feels like a short. Look at Apple down here. Under VWAP, trend down, almost a full percentage point with only the 170 level in play for support. So underneath Friday's bottom, I think you got to look for the short. If 186 is going to fail, 18.6 is going to fail on the NASDAQ, then Apple shouldn't be holding VWAP.
All right, we've got, I'm looking at the same thing. We just had a nice move down in SMH. I said, like, why are we shorting SMH here? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but we just took some money back on that name pretty good. So we're going to do that, like, real fast, real quick, you know what I'm saying? On that one and take some profit on that. We'll still wait for a drop down. We still have a hell of a lot of shares here, so this is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a trade that we're over with here. I'm looking for some lower bids, though. I'm at 230 flat. I'm going to go to 230.30 quickly because I just realized what the share size we have is. So we're going to look at that. Meta, again, nice push. I mean, we're still $1.50 in the money on Meta. I'm still bidding 494 flat or 494.20, seeing if we do finally get a drop down in something here in this market. That would be real nice. We've taken a good amount of profit on Tesla, but it is making its move back up, and that's starting to catch a little bit of fire there. Okay, come on. We can go green on SMH here, by the way. So let's get to the downside right now. We're bidding 10s here on SMH. We're close, guys. If this can make a push back in on this name, let's do that. But again, as Neil mentioned, I didn't realize Micron was going ham, obviously, with AMD going. Like, wow, AMD, like, baby NVIDIA, slow down. You all grown up now, huh? But there it goes. Nice move to the upside. And NVIDIA, just no red candles, but, AMD, no red candles yet, but NVIDIA is the one that is pushing off its high. But looky, we just bounced off VWAP again. So that's another situation there. But I mean, when I talk about no red candles, I mean, honestly, like, this is a 1 minute chart, like a little pullback before an explosion of $3 more. I mean, that's working. That is for sure. Can we get that Meta 494 flat? That'd be interesting if that can come through. And then a possible reload here on the Tesla short. But I mean, we might have to give up on the shorts. I thought 18.6 was going to be.
We're at 18.6. We're not broken through.
We're not broken through. Yeah.
Anything putting lower highs in or at resistance or under VWAP, I think, is in play. So I never got Tesla. I like 178 on Tesla. We're not going to get 178. Like, it's here or no trade. Like the 176 or no trade. So I think, to me, that means go here. Palantir is going to give me a reload again. Watch out for these stocks. that are strong off the highs, but anything that's giving you a resistance level, like I'm going to reload Palantir in front of this 23. If we can get to the downside, still looking at that 70s and 80s underneath that flat bottom, but if it breaks out this top, I got to wait for 2340. Man, really should have just been on Micron. Like Intel's, like it's working. 45 to 45.35 is the high. But man, that Micron move is just a heck of a lot bigger. So I'm looking for this next to break out the high, then the next trade. So it's either pull us back into VWAP and 45 even for a reload on this one, or look for the next stair up, which would be breaking out of here and getting to that 50 level. So I just reloaded Palantir shorts. Be careful doing that. This market is still somewhat screaming. And like I said, it's either, if you're shorting Tesla, it's either here at the 76 or not at all. So I'm going to get into it for the first time. And is Nikola really going this time? Not really. No, it's still not moving. I keep getting tricked into looking at Nikola by everybody. I see Nikola, but it's not going anywhere. I think you got to stick to the plan here. They're getting a bit of a curl as the futures are at resistance, so you want to short the names that are at those levels.
All right, so we're going to try Tesla again. I know Neil just talking about it, but we've already hit this level numerous times. We're going to try it again. You know, whatever, man. Let's go back to that well if we can. It doesn't look like Meta wants to go too low, so what else you guys want to do right now? Let me just double check to see. So again, when I check to see numbers, I go over to our watch list because you can see it right there. At 10 o'clock, man, we have PMI. So we have only a couple minutes. Manufacturing PMI coming out, and then employment index, ISM employment index as well. So we've got some rocking and some rolling about to happen right here in this market. So get ready. In just a couple minutes, we'll go over to Adair and get those live for you. So, all right, we've got shares on board here. We'll put some more bids down here on Tesla because I don't have any in. So 175 and change to the low side. We'll take some of that. We know Tesla has the ability to absolutely motor. So we'll see which way that motoring is. I may just take a piece out here before the number again on Meta. This is a real low level, man. I mean, we've done really good to get some of these prices on this name. And again, this is another one of those sticky note names that we put in here for Meta off of 496 level is what we wrote down. So that just came in. Meta, yeah, 496. So, you know, when it comes in, we'll have to take it. Oh, man. There goes Tesla now. Darn, maybe we should have let that one sleep a little bit, but it's starting to go up to the upside right now ahead of those numbers. So watch out for Tesla, looking like it wants to break through this pre-market high of 176.50. So we'll have to wait out for that. It's Meta that's my best name. So while Tesla is, but position pending. Meta right now is what we're looking at. What else you guys want?
Baba's breaking out the highs.
Oh, not.
Okay, so no, I shouldn't say that. Baba's consolidating with a potential breakout of the highs. If I say breaking out the highs, then I should be saying that when it's actually going through. But look at the resistance. You're not getting the dip. It doesn't seem like that we would normally like on an Alibaba. But this is a consolidation breakout if I've ever seen one. Nice little top here. It's a gap up, 73.60 looks like the double top here. I mean, I don't mind taking breakouts. I just really felt you're going to get some better shorts in this this morning. It is what it is. I'm into Tesla for the first time now. But that Baba, it's 15 cents away from that break. I just want to make sure we highlighted it. So if you see that pop into my blotter, or the position board, I want to make sure we mention that. So it's about 15 cents away on Alibaba for a potential breakout of that top. Tesla, I'm short here at 88s because why not? That's the one level we like that was still available for a short trade. If it takes out this local high, I'm getting that you-know-what out of Dodge. Intel's pulling back a little bit, but still holding 45.25, so that's going to be fine. Palantir, try just getting something in the 80s, as that's now stair-stepping up. Like the initial short, you really had to wait for the 23 level, and that's holding true here. If this breaks 23, this could really scream. So I want to make sure that I am not completely off guard with this Palantir. As Tesla, like I said,
let's go.
Unless you're short the 76 here, that's the trade. So under VWAP, I'm going to take my first out. But I wanted this at 78. The best we're able to do is now getting into it off the 76 level. Oh, yeah, and I want to talk about Rivian. As you pull up that chart. Rivian, let's go.
Let's go.
Load. That's pumping back into its pre-market high. So I think you can look for fades on the EVs maybe up there as well. Weak stock. If it holds 11.10, you can short 11.05, something in that range as well.
All right, let's go over for happening now with numbers. Let's go.
Our numbers in here, as Sean suggested earlier, there are quite a few. We have this 10 a.m. number, ISM manufacturing PMI, higher than expected, 50.3 versus 48.3 forecast, 48.4 consensus. Construction spending month for month, negative 3%, so a little bit lower here than the consensus of 0.7%. We have manufacturing prices, 55.8 versus forecast of 52.5, so pretty high, much higher than the forecast here. ISM new orders, manufacturing 51.4 versus forecast of 49.5. Last but not least here, ISM manufacturing employment also higher than expected, 47.4 versus the forecast of 46. So higher pretty much across the board here with the exception of construction spending month over month for these 10 a.m. numbers. SPY, not reacting too much here, down a little bit, but still up about 0.2%. On the day as we start this second quarter of 2024. A couple names to keep an eye on here, including NIO and some of these other Chinese EVs. NIO holding up pretty well, up about 4% after announcing its vehicle delivery numbers, which it saw a 14.3% increase year over year for its March numbers. We also have Apple. Sorry about that. We also have Apple down about 0.6% after getting a price target decrease from Loop Capital.
Thank you, Mr. Dara. Wow, that number was potentially a blessing in crazy disguise there. We were able to bank, man. Wow, Tesla, let's go. And again, if you're looking at anything 176, we've talked about those levels. We really like that right there as that just came in. And guess what just happened as well? We got a huge push down on SMH there, and we were able to clear that out. My best fill is 10 on SMH right there. So that was, for me, turns out to be a pretty good fill right there. So we'll take that, man. And now we'll wait to see what happens. And then, of course, Meta's almost $2 in the money. That one didn't really get going. So if there's going to be any sort of a concern in my blotter right now, would be exactly that, would just be Meta. I'm not worried about anything else, man. We've nailed this Tesla. Tesla's by far going to be the P&L number one as we just nail that one again. I'm going to take another fill here. I mean, whatever. We've got like a good position on here with decent shares. So I'm just going to keep on like trying to cycle this out. Obviously, if it rips up, that's why we're getting some out right now so that we don't have to worry too much about a huge move up. But that's good. We're already net big time short, man. There it is. It's not one, but $2 right now in the money for Meta. We're trying to get $1 in the money here on SMH. We're going to bid again at 230. See if we do get a move down here for SMH down through 230 would be real nice, but we need the whole market to crack. Bang, there it is, man. Tesla downside big time with that fill. Yes, it was. And then it's the SMH fill that we just got that's sending our net moonshot right now. Meta is $3 in the money, guys. This name is really, really working out for us so far. It's Sticky No Nation. I hope you're on it. Baba, the only one that we don't have that's been marked down. Plus Reddit. We haven't looked at Reddit.
I looked at it for a brief second, and I didn't see anything I liked, to be honest with you. But there was, I'll look at that DJT, which might have had a play in it. But we're back under VWAP, sticking to the plan. I like Palantir for shorts down here. Oh, it broke that 23 once right at the open, but now double topped it underneath. So we're short at 97s, just got a 77 fill in there. The next fill, we're looking at those 60s. So now we're starting to cook to the downside. Now, obviously, the early shorts on AMD stunk. There's no question about that. Clearly we're pretty good. Palantir, Tesla now working. That's a buck in the money. Still in the money on the long and on Intel if it can hold 45. But look at AMD now holding 185 on the pullback. If this holds VWAP, that chart. This holds VWAP. You got to feel like this is going to be another push to at least retest that 187. So I'm going to keep my eye on this and Micron if there is a potential reload opportunity for me on Intel. Because Intel's right here. It's not nearly as strong in terms of like percentage move, but there's nothing wrong with that upward trend. If it can hold 45 and the other names and its cohorts can do so as well, I think it's worthy of a reload. But I'm not standing in front of the falling knife. Show me the consolidation first, and then we can work back into the long, because those shorts that were trouble, they're not absolutely chilling. Right? And for me, I jumped into Tesla because it showed me 76 when I like 78. But now Palantir, which we liked off 23, we're back in the 60s. I'm just going to get a 68 bid because that's where it seems to be holding up. And then we'll work this one back into the pre-market low. This breaks 22.5. I think it's got 22s in its future. So Palantir, after that move on Thursday, just stay that short. Stay the course, man. But I'm not looking gift horses in the mouth while you're at these lows.
Guys, we were at one point near the bottom, You know, now we're holding this thing because we believed in the short. What's in here? Oh, this. This is for our mics. You know, we believed in the short. And I mean, sometimes you got to hold on to what you're believing in and the prices that you've marked down. And that's what winds up happening. Great move on Tesla, man. I mean, I'm glad Neil has this. We have this as well. Shout out to everybody else, man. I mean, this is why we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fills up there on Tesla. We're trying to get SMH even lower than this, but I mean, I have to be pretty, we're $1.50 in the money. I'm going to take another fill here because we are at VWAP. But let's see SMH get to the downside right now. I mean, we can go again from first to worst real damn quick if we don't start covering some of these positions. Meta was just $3 in the money. That's why we covered that. The market pulled all the way back to VWAP right there. I do not think, Neil's in Palantir, he just talked about it. Joe Schmo, what's up, Joe Schmo? I will look at it in a minute, but I'm looking at some of the fills that I have in some of the trades here. So I'm going to hold on to Meta in case this VWAP doesn't hold, but I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. We were talking about this all last week, obviously, when Obi was here, and he's going to be here on the midday as well. This 18.6, you know, it's been holding, so we'll wait to see. I mean, really, it's 18.620, 18.630 as the top right there. But like I said, now I think that you guys, someone commented, I think, on the podcast that, yeah, they also do hate long weekends. Look, I like long weekends. It's just, you know, it's like really missing being in the seat trading here. So we're really glad that we're back so far here today. Yes, Pran, yes, so far, but we'll have to wait to see what happens here. It's SMH downside, it's Meta downside, and then as Neil mentioned before, like this AMD, like so good to get out there for 20-cent hit. It went all the way to 187 there. Like, that's a big move, man. 220.
That NVIDIA, Micron was a shocker, how much that was up. I wanted to mention DJT's down 10%.
Oh.
Yeah, so like there was, I know we did, like Reddit, I didn't see anything I liked on Reddit, but this is probably a short that should have been in there off of the 60 fail. That said, it's already happened. I paid for locates this morning on this. At least I'll double check. You know what, let me just, yeah, I did. I paid for locates on this one this morning. I just wanted to test to make sure I could offer it. But if it cannot hold on to this 56, 57 area here, I think there's at least another leg down into the 52. So you come back into the market after the, I guess, the deal and the conversion, and you had that 52 low. So there is another stair step down. It's just a matter of holding that 56, 57 area. It's not right quite VWAP, but the next pop up, I think there's a fade opportunity off that 57. But I get out of it right quick if it cannot hold that offer. Palantir, there was a question about where do we think it can go. Well, I mean, the currently 22.5, you got a bit of a bottom, but if it doesn't hold on to this level, 22, that is the February low. This has been consolidating up here for a while. It's got some wick bottoms down there. So I think if it breaks 22.5, there's probably some buyers holding out for that 22 level. So I still like the short. I might reload it a third time if it gets back up there. I think we got to be very, very patient with Palantir. Down 1.5%. It's relatively weak. So what else is relatively weak is Apple. Starting to bounce. I want this one short back into 170.5. And it's starting to look like a breakdown at 170. But until that support level goes, remember, it's an up day in the market. The market is currently up, and if it breaks out that top, even Apple has a chance to hold that 170 and go back toward green. I'm not saying it's going green, but for now I am trying to short this one back in. I do not want to be fighting trend, so if I can do that and be short names that are showing trend to the downside, I'll go ahead and take that shot, but I haven't been filled yet in Apple. So Tesla's holding nicely. Palantir is about 30 cents in the money. That's a 1.5 on that stock. And we haven't reloaded Intel yet because I haven't seen enough strength.
All right. Yeah, shout out to Dan Emmons there. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I like that short 18.6. I mean, that's what we've been talking about that for a while. So I'm with you, my guy, right there, and Kyle and everybody in the chat that's short. I mean, I'm literally short 3 monster names. I mean, Meta, SMH, and Tesla. So yeah, I'm with all you guys on that short at 18.6, and I don't even have any more bids out. Like literally no bids. I don't have any bids. The only bid on the stocks that I hold. I do have a bid on Baba, but I'm going to cancel that because that didn't come into 72.25. So we were bidding Alibaba, but remember we talked about what that stock tends to do sometimes, and that is go for like a little bit of a nap. And so right now it feels like that is what's happening here again. So we may be in a little bit of a nap time here with Alibaba, as we'll wait to see if it does drop in. I don't mind the 200 period if we do get
early
that.
for it to fall.
Again, it seems early. That's what I'm saying.
Like Baba still moves into 11 o'clock usually.
Yeah. What's up, Kyle? Yeah, you know what? You guys are probably right about Meta. I mean, you know, I've been spinning on this one as well for a couple weeks, but yeah, like today, remember we were sitting here and we were talking about, and it does go to the point that Neil was talking about looking at things and making sure it's right. I mean, I was delaying. I told you guys that. We were delaying the sticky note until I searched through as many names as I felt comfortable with and then found a couple that we liked. And it's paying dividends. You know, the harder you work, the better the results, honestly, in almost in anything that you do, as long as you're trying to do it efficiently. That's what I'm trying to do. All right, so we'll watch out for that. Tesla right now, again, we've still got these trades on as it now approaches lows. Again, breaking now the low of the damn day here for Tesla. Guys, honestly, I am just going to do that right now because, oh, hell yeah, as we go, yes, sir. Wow. All right. Well, there it is, man. It's $2 in the money on Tesla. It's $2 in the money on Meta. And it's $1 in the money on SMH. As again, look at this name. Continue to go to the downside. This was my favorite short of the day just because it was easy. We knew that it was weak all day here, down 1% against a ripping market. That's why when, like, remember I was short AMD and I was like, what is going on? I didn't even really realize the market was ripping because Tesla didn't do that. And then when it gave that gift right there of this kind of a move up, man, that was an easy short. And then it gifted you again. Like, hell yeah. Like just this one trade. You know, you don't need too many trades. And it's just this one trade that really is the number one. This trade by itself is number one. All these reloads, I mean, we've been really lucky. You sort of got to ring the register sometimes when moves happen like this. But the thing is, Tesla's already getting cranked here. The market is up 0.5. Like, what if the market actually goes down? Then what's going to happen to some of these names that we have on board? So let's wait to see here. I'm trying to be as patient as we possibly can. That's that. So great trade, obviously, there on Palantir as that continues to go lower.
I'm out Tesla. Just quickly.
Yeah, Tesla's a monster.
Just quickly to show you guys what's, you know, I like station to station sometimes if you're trading in an inside market, which we are in a bit of a sideways market. So you're trying to break down here. 178, and again, on my note, I like the short in Tesla, but 78 was the level. Mm-hmm. You never got 178 short. It just essentially consolidated underneath it. So I only set up that trade after it showed a double top, and this is 173. You can kind of see key closing price a couple of times last week. So it bounces off that level pretty decently back into the half. I trailed it when it bounced 173 in through that level. If it takes out 173, look out below. 170 is in play today. So I want to short pops, possibly back into 175. If that's even a thing, that's VWAP. Or if we just take out 173, look for continued trend into the downside. Palantir I'm going to hold on to because I still think it's got room to next level down. Wait a minute, I'm not bidding the low of the day? Well, that's kind of stupid. Low of the day is 22.55. There, I just got to fill down there. I thought I was already bidding it. We'll ring the register again on Palantir. This is the one I'll hold because we still have room to 22 even. So when that makes the next leg to the downside, or if it does, you're breaking the 50 period, it's down 2% into a strong market, and then we'll hold on, see how far it can go. But I have no bids now on Palantir. It's at that low of the day. Still can't seem to get into Apple short, though. That's the only one. It might just be the break here on Apple. Like, I'm offering in front of 170.50, and you can probably imagine what's happening. It's just holding 170 on a dime. So 170 and 1 cent is the low of the day. You can see the consolidation down here. I still want the short into VWAP. 10.15. Apple breaks are usually traps, so I'll let it break the level and then try to catch it on the way back to the upside. I don't want to take a breakdown here on Apple. It's not volatile enough to be taking a 10.50 break. 10.15 break.
Yeah. The market, I feel like the market might be slow now. All right, so let's just wait. All right, SMH, yeah, what's up to everybody? BTC looking vulnerable? We could have a look at that. I mean, it's under 70. We see that here on the chart. We can always look at IBIT again right now. We can look, let's look at BTC. Why not? Right now, if the people want to look at BTC, I'm here for the people. All right, so let's go. Right there. There it is right here. We'll look at a quick, let's just look at a 1 minute chart. Let's look at a 3 minute chart just to have a quick look. Tesla's still at, now Tesla's at 173. Ooh, okay, man, wow, all right. So again, these lines don't mean anything to me. I should probably fix this. I don't have a Binance account, so I don't know if I can edit these. But okay, all the way to the downside. I mean, you probably can. I don't think it has anything to do with having an account. But there's the move up to 70. And again, look at that. It held 70 for the short, basically, right? We got as high as $66. So that was a good hold there. Now you're bouncing off. I do feel like, yeah, you probably need to get down into 69 and change for Bitcoin to be a trade. So we'll watch out for that if that comes through. But yeah, not too much of a crazy weekend. Again, like if this is not consolidating, then I mean, this just looks, wow, we are net at the highest spot we've been at all day. And I want to thank you, Elon Musk. Look at this move right now on Bitcoin. Looks like it wants to hold this 68 level. So we'll forget about that for now. But anyway, 69. If we start to see 69 down there as a level, then yeah, I will go over to IBIT. Let's go. Tesla right now, trying to bounce off 173. But here's IBIT coming through right now. So IBIT.
40 level looks really good on IBIT.
Yeah, if you want to short it, like I'm trying to figure out like what, that's why that ARC one is good, because you got to try to figure out what levels corresponds.
Yeah, I hate having to do the price adjustment thing. It's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. But I think what you do, if you're trading IBIT, just focus on IBIT and trust that the charts look the same. So just focus on the prices in IBIT. So I'll try to ignore, unless it's exactly 70,000 or something, I'll have a chart of Bitcoin up. But I just like to look off levels. And that's why I say 40 looks pretty good here. Like you can see it very clean. 40.02 is literally the high. So if you were short this off the 40 level, I mean, if you risk 5 cents, 3-1 at 39.80. So it's giving you the levels. I think you just have to trade it off of those prices. I know you can do the whole BTC thing as well. We can, at real trading, we can trade whatever we want. It's just that to go short, we short IBIT. We can't short BTC. So I'll short the ETF one if I get the chance. And you can see it corresponds with that 70,000 area up at the top. Not clean to 70,000, but if 70,000 breaks out, it's an easy out as far as I'm concerned if you're short IBIT.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that in a second there, Fabian. Fabian just told a name to me, but I wasn't sure what it was. Okay, so just real quick, like Meta keeps bouncing off the 50 period right here, so there's something there maybe on Meta. I'm just gonna wait. I feel like we're gonna break. Like I want to break this right there. So I'm going to try to hold on to these shorts as much as possible. I did put a bid for Tesla at 172. I mean, that would be 350 if we got that. That's, some decent levels right there right now. I was also thinking about shorting NVIDIA maybe up here. Just keeps on wicking higher. But Obi and I talked about, first of all, like I just mentioned, our P&L is now at the highest level it's been all day. And again, that is because of what's happening with Tesla. Just broke 173. So there it goes. There goes Meta right now as well. Hopefully that can fade out. And then if we can get an SMH break on this one, then, I mean, what exactly are we doing? All right, I'm not even going to put another bid here. Let's see if this market actually wants to come in for us. This is what we're doing, man. Yeah, shout out to my guy Sharif here, hopefully hugging some gorillas over there. But
hopefully not.
No, he wants to apparently. He wants.
No, I know what he wants to do.
Yeah. So he's going to try to be like high-fiving some of these gorillas and stuff. So we'll see if that winds up happening or not. But here we go, man. Yes, sir. Wow, is all I could say about what's happening right now. The amount of extension. I mean, remember what we talked about with these markets? These are the markets where you get crazy extended moves. So we're not holding on to too many shares, man, but we have 20 to 30% of all of these left, and it is really, really making a difference P&L wise. Instead of me dropping it all here or here, being able, and it only works when it works, but wow, we are really getting down here on this. We just talked about this move down. Let's go. Shout out to Kyle Burnett. Shout out to Dan Emmons. Shout out to everybody that believed, man. We've only been short today, and man, oh man, are we Bank City on this or what? Sam Bankman-Fried, man, hopefully that guy doesn't get out too soon, because right now we loose, baby. This market is downside. We're now $1.50 in the money right now on SMH. Let's go. Let's spin that. Wow, what a good day this is turning out to be. I want to thank everybody. And sometimes this is just karma, man. You have a great weekend. You get to spend it with family and friends, and then we come in here, and then you get to spend it with all of y'all. And then this is what happens. So there we go, man. If you believe in karma, again, maybe Karma is what? There's a song with Taylor Swift. I can't remember my.
Uh,
Karma with, oh,
you're
Taylor
asking
Swift
the
with
wrong
Ice
person.
Spice. It's a
Yeah.
Taylor Swift Ice Spice song.
I know, I don't know it, but I know what you're talking about. I'm the last person to remember it because like I know it exists. Apple broke that 170. Palantir's through that 40 level. At this point, I'm just thinking 22 on Palantir, but I said I wouldn't take the 170 break. I'll wait for like a fail and see if it pops back up. They're almost down to 1% here. Everything is finally starting to turn. Like AMD just broke VWAP. It's right back. That said, if I fight AMD, yeah, it would have worked. 100p would have worked. But like you really had to withstand that one. And it's just like for everyone that's going to have their own different trading strategy. My breakout level for AMD was 183. It is back to where I started liking the short. So if I like the short at 183 and it's just back to that now, if anything, this is almost a long off that level if we hold 18.5 in the NASDAQ. Like that's a huge, huge move. Like I said, I'm holding on to the Palantir short, no question about it. We'll get that pop if we can. But I mentioned DJT. Yeah, that. So I decided to play, I actually even said this in my warning note, play the patience game, been off a week. I like the short here in DJT. Let's wait for our price. So I could have broken every rule in the book and just looked at it blindly, said I like the short and punch short. It just went down like $3 in the last couple of minutes. So I'm canceling my offer. This would have to pop 10% almost for me to get the price I was just offering. We're not getting that. So you got to look for the next possible trade. That could be off the 55 level. If anything, remember this just did the conversion, I suppose. So the new bottom is this 52 level since the conversion. It's there now. I'm not shorting lows. If it pops into 55, we can try to grab it, but that's absolutely insane. DJ, like 15% down. It was just 10% when we put our last offer in, but we're not going to get that. And if we get it, then something crazy's happened.
Move down here for the IWM compared to the SPY and the NASDAQ this morning, down about 0.75% here. But a lot of these small cap runners showing some nice momentum, including CXAI. This one is CX app. Now it's like a partnership with Google Cloud. They also do have a 10% short float, so keep that in mind. Also, we have this MMAT here. This one continuing to the upside, announcing that they're going to have their corporate meeting after market close on Wednesday. So a bit of a move up there on anticipation for that, up 35%. They also, Meta Materials also does have a short float of around 10%. Last but not least here, we have this one, OUST, this is Ouster. This one ran last week as well. And also worth noting for this one, they get a price target increase from Craig Hallam, and they also have a short float of about 10%. Lots of small cap runners to keep an eye on, guys.
I just want to note, thank you, Dara. So I just want to know, like, our stop on this trade of 175.70 was 176. 176.50. I just canceled it. So far, so good here. We're going to get out of half of what we have left if it breaks above 173. Because, like Neil was mentioning and like we keep on saying, you gotta have outs, man. If you don't have outs, then you don't have anything. So we're going to wait for that to hopefully come through right now for Tesla. So if it breaks 173, we'll go that to the top side. The reason why I was like, oh, man, I needed a little bit of a break there because I need a coffee. I think Randy must be in some kind of a break here or a meeting.
It's probably a meeting or something.
You need one? Because I'm going to go get one.
It's yes. Yeah, if you're going, sure. Usually, this time of day, like Randy probably comes by, but I could definitely use one. Reddit needs a coffee to wake the hell up, but that's pretty much everything right now. That's my segue into Reddit. It is not a joke. I know it's April 1st, but Reddit is at the IPO low, down 7%. Okay, 6.6, doesn't really matter. But you're at that bottom. So here's 44. So look, if you look at the last couple of days here, obviously, with an IPO, you don't have a lot of levels to work off of. IPO lows matter, so this is 44 even. If you're looking for a bounce play, I think that's the spot you got to watch. But any pop, 48 sits under here. That looks pretty solid if we can get it. I already mentioned DJT. I am looking for a fade there. But here comes the retrace. So you'll see for the first time today, I just got Apple, so that popped in live. Said I'm not taking the break at 170 on Apple. I'm going to short it back into VWAP on like a false break. If this is the pattern down, then I want to short the pops. When I was a trainee, I will never forget on the first, Well, it was the first couple of trend down days. There's this one guy on the floor. He used to sit there yelling out or speaking to himself saying, short the pops, short the pops. And that was his way of reminding himself that if you had a trend, it was a trend to the downside, don't just sit there hammering lows. Wait for the opportunity to get back in. If you short the 170, okay, fine, 15 cents doesn't matter that much. But if you're stopping out at like 40 or 45, that matters over time. Save yourself that 1/3 of the risk on that trade by getting yourself a better price. Usually you're going to get pops. And if we get one back into VWAP, fair enough. I'm going to short back into it. So Reddit, we just paid for locates. I just paid for locates. They were, oh, wow. Thank you, Real Trade. 1/4 of 1 cent per share. I actually almost thought that was a misprint. Like, that can't be that cheap. That's ridiculously cheap for an IPO. 1/4 of 1 cent per share to short the stock. So VWAP sits here at 48. I don't think we get that. If it gives a consolidation short of 46.5, somewhere in this range, I'll look for the next available curl. And when I say curl, I want it to bounce, show me a sideways action or show me a resistance. It could be the half, and then jump into the short, which might even be happening right now. But I'm not looking long on Reddit. If you want to go long off the IPO bottom, go for it. I'm looking to play short. Same thing with DJT. I need something to call this because I don't want to be like DJT. I'm going to fumble with that too often. And it doesn't really matter. If that gets back to 55, it's worth it. Otherwise, I'm going to look for a consolidation short to join that trend. Don't want to get trapped at the bottom, but I want to respect the trend here. Micron's just too strong to think short. You got to be looking long here. I thought VWAP, I was going to tell you, let's go long VWAP on Micron. Micron doesn't care. 7.5% up and holding 125. This is just a long next available sideways consolidation, I suppose. This is your home run today. Wow, I didn't see that one coming on Micron. New position was only Apple. I'm just chuckling over Micron. If you told me, yeah, Neil, you're going to come back in and Micron's going to be the biggest mover, I would have basically been paying every single bet out because there's no chance I thought that would happen today. But we like this Apple. We're going to hang on to Palantir. Reddit, we're looking for the short consolidation, if we can even get it. And I got to look long on Micron. It's just that simple. Like, you have trend down here. What do you guys see? You see a reason to go short Micron? Because I'm not seeing one. You're guessing at tops at this point. Like, Micron is busting through on the daily chart. Maybe 130 because it's an obvious level. But outside of that, I think you just got to play the trend. Can we check uranium? We can in a second, but yeah, there's a couple other things I wanted to get to because Google's super strong. It's not on my list of things to trade today, but look at the strength here in Alphabet, holding VWAP, consolidation up. There's nothing wrong with looking for a VWAP long here. I won't chase it off the top, but I think you got to respect the strength over there. Going to get a bid out here on Apple if I can at that 170 level. BJZ, yeah, if you don't want to touch MU, like if you're thinking short today, I think the answer is just don't touch Micron. You don't have to force the action. Like, you either don't want to buy it up at the top. Thanks, Sean.
No problem.
Get that coffee. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I like shorts today. I'm not touching Micron because it's too strong. Right. I like shorts today. I'm not touching stock Y. But I like the weakness in Reddit. I like the weakness in Apple. I like the weakness in Palantir. I like the weakness in DJT.
Or it's not cold brew or anything.
No. That's only when it's hot outside. Like the whole cold brew rant I went on, it's like 27 degrees, and it's a minor league ballpark. You're in the sun the whole time. I'm not trying to drink a hot coffee, but I needed my caffeine, and I couldn't get a cold brew. So I was just kind of ticked off about it. That's all.
Sub-Zero. So, guys, what the hell is going on with Tesla?
Sub-Zero, by the way.
Yeah, I just said Sub-Zero too. I mean, I'll deal with anybody with Raiden as well, but Sub-Zero is my guy because he's very similar to Ken and Ryu with
it's easier to play, like
Frozen.
Yeah, like if you know how to play with Ken or Ryu, you can play with either one and you master their moves. Sub-Zero was kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was the easiest character to master in Mortal Kombat. So if you're just playing to win, now I'm looking for my Mortal Kombat. There we go. If you're just looking to play to win, and of course that's going to be Scorpion.
Yeah.
Well. Okay. I feel like that should have been Sub-Zero, but anyways, if you're playing to win, then play the easiest.
Did we ever get a note on Tesla there, Dara? Because, like, honestly, I mean, we had it as a plot. The funniest part about all of this, it's not even that funny. I mean, I'm a trader, so maybe it's funny to me. But, we had Tesla written here. When I was looking at it, like Tesla was up here on the watch list today, and I was reading, and I remember even asking Neil, like, what's up with Tesla today? And I was reading, I was like, okay, like the price increases.
It was nothing.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, it's up 0.57. Like, why did it make our list and kind of stuff like that? And I was looking at it, and then this just goes back to part of what we talk about. Like, you never really know where your bread's going to be buttered, which is why you kind of want to sit in some names that you believe in, and then if they work out, great. If they don't, like, here's a good example of this. You know, maybe this is not going to be story time with Sean or anything, but like, when you write down 183, first of all, here, we'll do this because we have a sticky note box that we can hit right there. So when you write down levels of interest and things like that, which is what these are, you know, like we wrote down AMD 183. So of course I'm going to try it. I mean, the market was kind of going down. That first candle was down, and we're like, okay, here we go. Let's not miss an AMD tank. So we wrote down 183. You know, we have these pre-market kind of levels right there. Those are just dark pool wicks. I understand that. But we looked at 183 and we thought we liked it. So we leveled into it, right? We got in at 938, then at 940, then out immediately. Wrong. We didn't have to hold it all the way up to 187. And the idea behind it is, a lot of that reason is because we didn't like layer in too early on this trade, right? So I just feel like, and I know Neil's used this word a lot today, and we always do, but if you're patient and you can kind of wait for some of your levels, and remember when I was into Tesla real early, we're going to go to Adair in 1 second, I was like, oh, well, now it's 931, and we're, you know, but again, it broke the bottom, and we liked that short. So we did take a risk there. We are lucky it came back to this level because we only had like a third of our shares there. But okay, here we go. 171.50, starting to go lower, lower, lower. Let's go over to Adair and see what she has to say.
You're not saying anything negative in terms of catalysts for Tesla, but I will keep an eye on it. In terms of Bitcoin, one update here is Clean Spark, CLSK down about 10%. They announced their mining numbers for the month of February, including a 24%, for the month of March, including a 24% increase in the amount of Bitcoin they mined. They also announced they sold a few Bitcoins, so total holdings now just above 5,000. So a couple updates from CleanSpark despite that increase, setting CLSK down about 10%. In terms of Bitcoin itself, continuing very much within that range that we had last week, right now holding up pretty well above that 69,000 area, now dipping into 69.3, down about 2%. Ethereum holding up okay above that 3,500 area, but still down almost 3%. BNB down about 3%. Solana down about 1.5%. Ripple down about 3%. So lots of weakness across the board for these cryptocurrencies. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV, capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout.
All right.
Reddit's back showing you something. At least I think this is going to be the area that I'm going to get in for the first time. Down that 7%. You can like it short, but you know when this already happens, you can only make the next trade. You can't make the trade that's already happened. So it's back into this 46. There's a seller at 46, I think 13 or something like that. So I'm sitting here at this 46 level, looking for the pop back in to get me that entry. You want to play the trend? Well, the trend is your friend here, at least until we get to that IPO low, and then you play it by ear. Apple's still holding the trend to the downside. We jumped in 170.15s, looking for the low of the day next, or closer to VWAP for a refill there. IBIT, well, if you wanted to short $40, that's actually really come and gone. This is starting to work a heck of a lot more to the downside. Just going to point out, and again, I'm using IBIT prices. You can look at a Bitcoin chart and look at the corresponding prices if you want. 39 was Wednesday's bottom here, and a hard bottom. So if it bounces off that level, I'd be looking for a false break underneath for a long, but that's a very particular trade. Would have to break 39, like hold the first 10 to 15 cents, snap back up, and I'd look for a VWAP retrace. Until then, got to sit this one out because the 40 short's not available right now on IBIT.
Man, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all of that, because honestly, Mr. Kevin Mendoza, you wanted some bangers today. I have two $4 winners on right now, and I'm not even talking about $1.50 here in SMH. So we have 3 trades on right now. 450 in Tesla, 450 now in Meta, and we've already I mean, we could get lower in Meta. And then SMH. So congratulations if you had the short. The thing about it is you had the long. I feel like there was opportunities for you, and there still is, man. I'm just trading the names that I'm trading. And right now, wow, I'm just seeing the power of some of these moves when the market's not even doing anything. Like, I cannot wait for a bigger push down here. All right, let's look for Coinbase right now. Oh, man, 262 and change. I mean, we just talked about Bitcoin. I mean, Neil just talked about IBIT. I just don't know if I want to actually trade this, but it's interesting because it's at the 200 period moving average right now. It's not, I mean, if we're just going to trade solely on technicals, this looks like a great level because that's where it broke out there early. It's come back in there, tested it once and held. And then as long as we can sort of watch out now, down there. Yeah, we have, I mean, SMH has been such a blessing that we're able to find that. It's still not a huge stock or anything like that, but we stay away from some of those wicks. Yeah, I know. AMD came right back down in again.
It bounced right off 183.
Yep, that's that level again. So we liked it for the short, but it looks like it's probably there for the long.
Well, it's under VWAP though.
SMH 229. I don't know, man. I feel like, you know what? At some point, you do get a little bit too greedy. We're bouncing around VWAP right here. Let's just take another fill here at 229 and then lighten the load on this one and then just, see what happens here. But it's been such an amazing day today. We can watch the UUP. We did talk about... is that what you mean, Greg Moore, there? You're saying the dollar matters? Yeah, I mean, we've had a strong U.S. dollar.
It does.
Which has been great for the markets, but I'm short. So there's a strong move up. And again, we know that what that can do to tech names, so maybe SMH, Meta, and Tesla, maybe going the other way. But the dollar's been really strong for a minute here. You can see the UUP. This is the dollar bull, and it's just, we don't have DXY on our platform, unfortunately. So anyways, that's a nice move upside right there on UUP. You can see it's been pretty much, in the last 10 days, maybe 2 red days. This is a strong US dollar. And then you kind of can look at the NASDAQ, if we just type in the Qs over here as well over the last couple days, just so I don't have to call up the futures, just takes me longer to get it. Let's go. Maybe it doesn't matter. You could see, so it's been a pretty strong US dollar the last 10 or so days, and the NASDAQ is hovering near the top as well. So we'll see if there's a change in sentiment there, but right now, it does seem a little bit confusing as many of these tech names have to repatriate the US dollar back in, so an expensive US dollar, and again, it's gonna be business specific when we deal with all that. All right, I'm just gonna throw it, Neil doesn't have his earpiece in, so it's not working. It's not that you don't have it in.
No, I've now taken it out because what's the point? I was wearing it before, but it's literally not working.
Yeah, so that's why Rob was hanging around, but we'll figure that out. But for now, I know DXY is ripping, exactly. I know that hurts the Qs. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was trying to show that it hasn't really hurt the Qs, a strong dollar, but supposed to. Remember when we were in school, like, oh, high energy prices is bad for the stock market, like.
Yeah.
Economics on some of that is a little bit tipsy-turvy right now. But long story short, we have to go to Adara.
It's true.
Did find some stuff to potentially explain this Tesla drop here. This market intelligence firm Caliber reporting that there could be a negative impact on Tesla sales in the coming quarter due to a drop in the company's consideration score, which is basically, how buyers are considering it. They're attributing this drop to Elon Musk and opinions on Elon Musk, but basically this consideration score dropping from a high of 70% in November down to 31% in March. So big drop down for how buyers feel about, or potential buyers feel about TSLA.
Look, and I think, actually, let me get to the futures for a quick second, because we're about to break down. I just put an order to break short, which is weird on AMD, but I'll show you in a second. But if we don't hold on to here, around this 18.5, call it 18.51, you call it 18.5 even, like that is a huge reversal. You had a big upward move that got the resistance, and that's a big reverse. Look at exactly where AMD bounced. Like, you've got to be kidding me. 183 was the level we wanted to short. It broke out. It just bounced off 183 clean. If it's under VWAP, I'm usually thinking short, right? Especially if that was the thesis before. But now, if it just doesn't break, if it doesn't hold 183, I'm just going short on a 183 break, especially if this market has already taken 18.5. And VWAP, darned, that's the word I will use there. I'm now more keyed in back on that 183. So if we lose that, I am just going short AMD. If you were looking at Micron and how strong it is, look at that, holding above. So this chip name is above VWAP and up 7%. AMD just got back under it. Intel, this is why you get out of trades. Doesn't hold the 45 level. We 45 long and a 45.35. Couldn't go any further, jump out of it. This is about to go back to its opening price. I think 44 is in the cards here. But it's already broken down off VWAP. I can still get a 183 break on AMD. So that's what we're going to go for here. Whoa, it did break and I didn't get filled. Wow, these spreads today.
Yeah, they're that's
usually,
what I was saying.
Usually I'm getting that fill. Okay, that's fine. I'll just get back into the 80s here, see if we can get that short. That's crazy. Usually you don't get completely miss there. I just picked it up at 79. Usually on a break of that and a 183 at 1040 in the day, like you're getting a 90 fill. Like of course you should get a 90 fill. But we're short it now. I think there's a lot of room for this to get back into those lows. 180 is an obvious target because it's that consolidation bottom at the open. But every dollar along the way is going to make some sense. We're still in Palantir. I feel like we're just going to hold on to this one till it gives us a reason. Reloads would be at VWAP anyways, and then 22 up at the bottom. Apple is trend to the downside as well. So every reason to just hold on to this until we see like, I mean, there's no obvious levels here unless you go back to last week's bottoms. 169, looks like it got to right at the open on the 26th. So 169 even is the obvious level here for Apple.
Yo, I mean, just shout out to everybody again. Like, yeah, man. I mean, this meta trade, trust me, I can see what you guys are saying. It's now $6 in the money. I mean, believe me when I tell you, I'm well aware of that. As this continues to go up to the upside right now. Meta, so this is what we have right now, a 6, a 4, and a 2. So we're playing some even numbers right here in the market. But so far, so good. Let's see if it can continue here into the next part of the day. It's 10:40, which means it's time to go over to the big desk with Adara.
We have strength in a lot of these tech names, particularly chip names, but not too many other sectors. Weakness across the board here in health technology. Eli Lilly, LLY, leading this group to the downside. Finance pretty weak here as well. Some of those banks start reporting earnings at the end of next week, so that'll be on watch. Right now, they're pretty weak as a group. Consumer services here also pretty weak as a group. Keep an eye on Disney, DIS, on watch ahead of the end of that shareholder board, of that board battle currently being discussed in CNBC as well. So DIS definitely on watch as we head into that April 3rd vote. Producer manufacturing a little bit more mixed. Retail trade a little bit more mixed here. Some strength from some of these consumer names, including Walmart and Target. But other than that, very weak across the board for a lot of these sectors here heading into the rest of the day, guys.
Yeah, Disney is looking weak. I didn't realize Eli Lilly was having that bad of a day, but there was
me neither.
There was a story I was reading, but it doesn't really matter. Essentially on the cost of Novo being like a few dollars to produce, and it's like, oh, you got to drop the prices. But come on, man, they spend billions to develop them. That's all politics at this point. AMD, that breakdown trade just came out. Breakdowns have to work right away. It did get as low as 182.5. But if it's not going to make this break and work right away, I got to look at VWAP at 184. I'm not holding a 183 short into 184 at 1040. I'm going to look for the reentry off of VWAP. I still think underneath VWAP, you want to look trend down. But that 83 price, sorry about this chart, that was resistance all last week. So under 183, I want to be short, but I'm not fighting it when it's over the 183. Apple's still working to the downside.
Look at that AMD chart. It looks gorgeous.
I know. Yeah, sorry. I've tried to get rid of these wicks a couple of times. It's actually the 3 minutes fine. That's why I keep coming back into it. But underneath VWAP, great. But the 183 is the key price now. I'm almost not caring too much about that VWAP. Reddit, my goodness. What goes up must come down.
Is it still going?
So this is...
I wrote down 50, but we never got there, right? 48, what was the high?
Look at, I'm offering underneath that 46. Now, if you're wondering, like, how is it that I put this offer in and it goes right up to my offer and doesn't fill for like the next, this is a 3-minute chart for the next 6 minutes. Well, there was an actual size seller at that price, so I guess other people were just really, really shaving in front of that price to be able to grab it. But I'm still only looking short on Reddit. Even if I missed it off 46, there's room to 42. And, 44, I should say. There's room to 44, which is the IPO bottom. Still got a couple of dollars to go. So if you can find a trade risking 50 cents, you still have room to get to the downside. Short the pops. That's the only way to get in.
Yeah, shout out to, I don't know if you're here. Thank you so much, Market Junkie. right here, tweeting that out.
Market junkie.
Yeah, we'll retweet that. Thank you so much. Anybody sends me a whoopsies, anybody sends me that, I will, as I close Twitter, I will retweet that. So go find me at Trader TV Shano, and thank everybody. I was just looking through some of them now because I was just looking at this, and I had put 173, remember, as our stop there for out of half, and then all of a sudden a 172 filled, so that was cash. But right now I'm thinking about, like, honestly, a 170, 130. If we break above this kind of it's not even really a shelf, but we're kind of basing out right now. I mean, I'll give up $1. I mean, this is $5 in the money. We'll give up. We're not going to give up anything because I'm not bidding down here. I was never even really thinking of 170. But again, as Neil mentioned about Reddit, sometimes what goes up must come down, and what goes down sometimes can also go back up. So we'll wait to see if that does happen right now. There hasn't been, and shout out to Kyle Burdett. You would think this is an April Fool's joke, but honestly, like, it has been this kind of a day. All these fills are completely real. Call them up on your charts, man. I mean, this is what we're dealing with right now here today. Shout out to you, Kyle. Shout out to Dan Emmons. A lot of people that have been short from this 18.6. We were talking about this all last week, and then even when it was here today, it's literally why we kept getting in. Meta goes right to the dollar. So we wrote down on here, 496. That was our first trade right there. We were able to. What allowed me to re-short that at 497.50 or whatever we're short at is because we're able to take some out there. So we just let it go back up and reloaded it. We said we're going to stay short until it breaks 500. So right there, this is giving us that $6 winner. SMH is now at its lows pretty much. I mean, it got going early. It went right to our 230. And again, the reason why we're not completely, what's up again right here? Look at this. This is what makes it for me, and I hope for everybody else here. You know, we don't have to blast out our P&Ls or anything like that to everybody out there. I mean, but if you guys, this is the kind of stuff, and again, I don't know who this is, but SEC Gossip Bird, okay? Anyways, this is going to be a nice trade for you on Tesla. And there it is right there. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about day over day. You know, watch how we trade, see the kind of moves that we make, and then it's up to you. I'll just say, good job on that one. It's up to you guys, how you trade and your outs and all that. So again, congratulations. I just want you to understand when it's a big day, it's a big day, and today's a big day. So again, just stay true to your trades. And remember, I went on that little rant earlier, which, hello, that's what I do all the time. And I said, like, I'm tired of not sticking with this. And I mean, today it has so paid. Just by doing everything and then sticking with our rules about not holding on to losers. I mean, when you don't hold on to losers but hold on to winners, it's a monster recipe for success. So that's what we did, man. We believed in this. We actually got out of SMH there for a quick loser, then got it back. Tesla's always been working, and Meta's never gone against us. So definitely a couple lessons being learned by me today, and I hope by everyone as well.
And that's sort of the thing, like, I say, like, you do this at 10 o'clock, you do this. I mean, I say 10 o'clock because it's like that first half an hour after the morning rush. Like, kind of jump back, go back to your original ideas. Also, what is trending that you're missing, right? Like, if there's something that's showing you an opportunity, like at Reddit, and we talked about DJT or whatever we want to call that name. If it's trending in one direction, Apple is an example of that. It wasn't on my list, but it's showing you the trend. And maybe this one doesn't make a new bottom, a new low. But at least I'm not going to end up having to fight it. As far as Micron goes, because if you're talking about trends, the market's at the lows, and this is holding higher. If we get 125, I probably said this already twice, and it doesn't seem to want to get down there, but this 125 looks like the spot to look for any kind of a long in Micron, and I don't want to fight it. But shorting the pops, at this point, if the futures break the low, this is your chance to get in, I think. So I've already mentioned Reddit a couple of times. I've moved my order a little bit underneath this 46, just trying to get 45, 75s. And if we can get that, then we work back with this trend. I know there's some Chinese ADRs that we were talking about this morning, and I was like, don't. And again, look, Neil's up 2%. So I'm not saying you didn't win if you were long this one overnight or something, but you can't get excited about moves up in Neo until it breaks $5. It goes 25 cents, 15 cents, and it's right back at these bottoms. It's not moving. So stocks like this, either you get in at the good price or you're just going to end up fighting it. If you want to take 10 cents, you can take 10 cents. I just think you got to be really careful with them. One more before, we only have 10 minutes to go here, which is wild.
I wish we had so much
It's already 11 o'clock or close to 11 o'clock. Rivian This looks like it could have a big move if it breaks this 1075 area. Might be able to get a VWAP retrace on Rivian here. That's only 10 cents up for it to bounce. Like there's 1090 short into 11, looks really good. But if it just takes out 1075, I mean, it's like a flat bottom just waiting to get busted. My daily chart doesn't want to cooperate, but 1050, that's a good risk to reward. You break 75, and then you can risk 5 to 10 cents and work it down to 1050. Otherwise, I'm looking to short this one back into 1090 as well. I know I mentioned liking short in Rivian. It just never really gave you a big setup. But I think we have a more patient one now here at the middle of the day.
Yeah, we liked. I did like Rivian. We talked about how much that moves and how crazy it is. With only 10 minutes to go, this is a good opportunity right now to go over to Instagram. Follow @TraderTV Sean @TraderTV. I think it's just @TraderTV, our Instagram handle. Anyways, go find that. There's many impersonators, so just make sure you get Trader TV Sean to go right here. Here's Randy and I. The wife put a real nice reel out here all about the brisket. So here we go with Randy. Here's my guy. What's up, Randy? And here we were. Fantastic place. And right at the end, see, I don't know how to do any of this. It's very simple, but the wife puts a little picture here coming up, I believe. Get ready, Trader TV Live. Let's go. There it is. So that was really, oh, damn it. That was really tasty. But go find that. And on here, you're going to find links to the podcast, the walk and talk, and all of that. So, I mean, like I said, this is all my wife. She's crushing that. But definitely go follow @Trader TV Sean. And if you want to employ her, you can do that as well. Let me know. But nice move to the downside. Okay, SMH right now, 250 now in the money on SMH. That's going into the gates of hell. Well, props it up for Meta. Meta's just $7 in the money. Shout out to everybody behind me. Tesla right now, $5 in the money. That's a face slapper. Man, do we have emoji crazy right now as the net is at the highest spot naturally today so far. Let's just see what happens as it continues. CXAI. Yeah, there's lots of odd movers today. There are some small caps right here. But you guys have wanted to talk about the dollar. So let's go over to the desk right now and find out. Ooh, yeah, SMH getting low. Let's go find out what's going on with the Derek. Come on, Meta.
The DXY here pushing past that previous resistance we saw at around that 104.88 level. Now we're just above 105. Interesting too, also pushing into that previous support that we had going back to November. So interesting move here for the DXY. We had a lot of economic numbers earlier today, including global U.S. S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing coming a little lower than expected. ISM Manufacturing PMI here, though, slightly higher than expected here, so 50.3 versus 48.5 expected. We also got ISM Manufacturing prices for March coming in higher than expected, and USA construction spending month-over-month for February coming in a little lower than expected here, so negative 0.3 versus 0.7% to the upside expected. In terms of other moves today that could be impacting the USD, we do have Fed's Cook speaking after the bell tomorrow, and for the rest of the week, we have a slew of Fed speakers, pretty much at least 4 Fed speakers every day for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tomorrow, though, on the docket, we have Fed's Bowman, Williams, Messer, and Daly, so definitely stay tuned for some of how this Fed speak could be impacting the DXY, guys.
Wow.
The market just took the low and just went red. The NASDAQ, ES, I have no idea. But a new fresh bottom on AMD. The first time we took the 83 break, it then consolidated, it then broke the double bottom again. So I'm only looking short on this one, but it's the 83 level, not VWAP, that I'm concerned with. This time of day, usually I'd be shorting off VWAP, but 83 was that key price. I'm already bidding 180 because I think that's where we can get to. Reddit. So, it's eventually short the pops. Eventually you'll get one. It just popped into 46. I got 80 short. The low of the day is at 45. Remember, the IPO low on Reddit is 44. So that's an out for me. The low of the day now is in front of 45. I'll get out in front of that. And then I'm getting all out in front of 44 even. As I am expecting there to be a defend. I don't know how big the bid's going to be, but I'm expecting a defend at the 44 level. If Reddit sees that price, I'm jamming because I think there's going to be buyers at the IPO low. I don't know how big the size is going to be, but I'm anticipating something down there. I'm just jumping out in front of it. I'm not going long at that level, but I will cover any shorts into it.
All right, guys. Yeah, it's too bad we got to. Maybe we'll hop on the midday. We have Adara in OB. We'll see how that goes. Oh, man, we're going to do a walk and talk. Get ready to check that out. I have a couple things to say. We've got Neil's lesson of the day in the middle of the day there. We've got, do you know what you guys are doing today, Adara?
We're talking about different strategies for time of day. Today we're trading
All right. Time of day strategies. So today we'll talk about trading in the morning. I think that's going to be pretty important. Who made the notes, you or Sharif?
I did. So we'll see.
Dara made the notes. It's going to be a kick-ass lesson. So get ready for that one with Adobe. There, I'm already doing it with Dara and Obi in the Midday show. You know what? Like this is
Adobe
just,
500.
Yeah, I love Adobe. By the way, we did buy a little bit on that dip. What was it, 480, 46, something like that? Again, they missed on earnings. They've been bouncing. Yeah, so there it is right there. So we didn't. No, actually, no, we didn't. It must have been 496 or so. We just bought Adobe. It wasn't through 500. It was below that. I'll find out. But anyways, little small position starting, adding to a position that we already have on Adobe. I really like that name. We sort of talked about that with a miss, but it's not really trading that well either, to be honest with you. It is kind of pulling back in. We've recently bought, so these are the three names that we've recently bought. Pan W, which is basically all the way back. So unless you sold it off that 50 period right there, it's all the way back and just doing what it's doing. We recently bought Alibaba. We talked about that. And then we started a small position at 157, and I have no idea what it's at, 147, 160. Oh, okay. So Snowflake we bought last week at 157 for a little bit of a starter as well. So, that was good. And we got a lot of credit last week when it went up to 166 or something like that. We'll see if Snowflake continues to work here in this market environment. So those are really the only three that we've recently bought. We've sold JP Morgan. We talked about that. We sold Goldman Sachs, raising some capital. Oh, and we got filled at 121.50 on Thursday that's right where it was on Disney. And I feel like that was a bad fill because it must have been was it down into here? No, it was Friday, or not Friday, Wednesday, where we got filled at 121, 121.50, or I don't remember where it was. It must have been here early on Thursday. Yeah, so there it was right there. That was the high. Then we blasted up there to almost 124. So we've been raising some cash on Disney, which is only up 45% from its October lows where we were, hammering it. And I want to put some money in URA.
Uraniums, and that got it. And again, there's a lot of people talking about uranium. I think there's a logic to it, especially with the small modular reactor game being a growth sector. But I'm not the only one that was a little bit confused in the podcast, because DayTrader Cut just goes, "You're supposed to be calling Obi the Egyptian prince." Now was in reference to. It was actually in reference to Sharif that got said.
Kunal was, I believe.
I believe that's what Kunal was saying. He was referencing Sharif when he said it. However, I think a lot of us assumed when he was talking about the trades in Amazon that it was Obi. So Obi's not the Egyptian prince.
Shout out to DayTrader Cut,
but he is a prince.
To the podcast.
Yeah, shout out to you for sure. But I think we're referring to Sharif there. That said,
he was referring to Sharif.
But there's another note here. I like this. Adara plus Obi equals Adobe.
You weren't here last week. That was happening all last week.
Oh, was it all last week?
Yeah, that's why I said I would never say it, because
I'm saying it because I wasn't here, so I think that's pretty jokes. But that 500 level doesn't look bad on Adobe. It doesn't mean I'm going to trade it. I looked at it, and it's like, would I want to play along off that level? I'd rather be buying dips or playing strength, or if I'm going to buy something strong. Like here's MU off the 125. I'm not trying to go long off bottoms. I want to go long off higher lows if you can. So I'm going to look at this. It's holding VWAP right now. We got a couple of minutes to go. It just bounced off the 125. I'm going to throw a bit in there. And if it cracks VWAP underneath, then you get out of Dodge. But until that happens, I think you can work this one to the long side. It looks good to me. So all systems go on Micron, up 6.5%. There was B of A raising its price target to from 120 to 144. Whether you want to give that as the reason for why it's so strong, a lot of the chips have been strong today. Micron just, I think the biggest percentage gainer, I want to say, out of all the chip names. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, I've really only looked at SMH after having this one. Now $3 in the money on SMH. Wow. The non-Egyptian Egyptian prince is now sit beside me here with Obi. But here's the podcast that everyone's talking about. And thank you again for the kind words. Thank you so much, Bears vs. Bulls and all of that. Like, we've never... we've interviewed people on this show. We just do things naturally around here, man. So, again, we made a great episode here, and I just feel like if you guys all have a chance to go check it out, us and Kunal from Bulls on Wall Street. We should have tagged Bulls on Wall Street here actually as well. But there's the QR code. Again, if you click on that, oh, here, let me put it up on the screen. There it is right there. Get your QR code scanner out immediately, and then this will take you to Brennan's. Like, huh? Go to YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Music. It will take you directly there, and then you'll be able to listen to it or watch it, stream it.
Either way.
Yeah, that's why I said stream. Like stream, you could be visual. Anyways, go over there, check it out, please, and thank you. And if you are a major corporation that wants to spend a lot of money, you could sponsor the podcast. So let us know about that if you do. CGC, actually a weed name right there. Please send me the weed details, Fabian. Oh, you got it? Okay, he probably did already, and I didn't look. But right now, let's just do this one. And CGC today, not on fire. So hugely down, actually. We talked about CGC coming in right here into 1050. And if you look at this, oh yeah, that's right. We can't look at it on our charts. Hold on a second here, just real quick, and then we'll get ready to go because we're almost done. We talked about CGC coming into $10. It did. That's exactly where it came into. And I was actually like, oh man, maybe this is finally where we'll get out because this has been such hot fire garbage. We haven't done anything to get out. You got it now? There it is. Yeah. So that level right there at $10 seems to be something for CGC. So again, we might have missed that opportunity to grab some puts or something there. But CGC still reverse smoking today. Did the downside, down 8%.
To Fabian's credit, he did put that. He actually gave it to us when you asked the first time.
Oh,
I just didn't.
The best.
I just didn't put it in right away, but I got it now. So we got the wee Batman out there. Just a couple of things before we go. It's 11 o'clock right now in the Reddit AMD. I still have no longs. The only long I'm looking for is Micron off VWAP here. So it's super strong, relatively speaking. If it holds VWAP, I'm going to take that bounce. But it's been a fun one, but a great lesson. It's got Adara and the Egyptian Prince, apparently. Adara and Obi. I think it's going to be a great lesson because different times of day require different trading styles. So let's learn about trading in the morning.
This is a good one.
Trade.
This is a good one.
Hi guys, I am Adara. Welcome to How to Trade. This is Obi, and we are here on this Monday. I just realized I do not have my chat open, so I'm going to deal with that in a moment here. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. How was your long weekend, Obi?
It was all right. A little uneventful, a little bit of family time, but nothing too crazy. Rested up. Nice little rest and relaxation. A little long weekend. How about yours?
Awesome. Yeah, mine was pretty good. I probably slept a little too much, but it's all good. Got a little bit of productivity. Saw a couple people, so trying to mix everything up here. Also, we already have a super chat here. Chase Bands, thank you so much for the $2 super chat.
Thank
you guys are great. April Fools, you guys are the best. Good morning. So really funny one there. Much appreciated there. Chase Bands, hopefully you are chasing these bands. Shout out to Andrew Chow. I'm going to try to do Sharif's roll call. I know Sean does a roll call as well. We're going to see if we can do this. Darwin saying hola. Sebastian saying hola. Adam DeLuce. Aaron and Joanna Brewster. Sorry, just Joanna Brewster there. The Amazonian Prince said scrambled eggs on toast. So I'm guessing that one goes out to our pal Obi. Adobe says hope and victory. Hi, Elon. Welcome to the chat, everyone. I just realized as I got in here, NVIDIA falling a little bit, so I'm probably going to have to get out NVIDIA in a moment here. Yeah, Frank Boso, I was not prepared for the chat management to happen here, so all good. Hello, Fat Figa. Hello, Bears versus Bulls saying, let's go, Darren. Obi, hello, Ponzi Fonzie. Everyone's kind of trickling in there, so that was my attempt at the roll call. But we are going to be talking a lesson. But for now, any trades that you got into this morning that you trying to talk about here? Anything worth noting? Anything you have your eye on as we head into this midday hour?
Yeah, sure. I'm currently in a couple positions here in Google and both Intel. Intel was nice off the open, so was Google, and we'll continue to talk about those. I just got to get my chat up here, a little buggy, but I was looking at some of those names. We can see how strong the market was off the open. Let me get the right contract here. This is still on an older contract. Some of these futures, I'm like, the futures are definitely not doing this today. All right, so let me get the right contract up there. HM, yeah, it should be the M contract. That should be correct. Nothing too crazy other than that. We saw chips kind of go crazy off the open, so there might have been some opportunities in there. But the NQ and the ES both kind of pushing towards their lows. The ES very a little bit more distinct, very distinct in terms of a difference from the ES and the NQ. You can see that it's traveled much further than some of this pre-market lows that we had going off into the open there. So softy as well, a little sideways. I was looking at Google. Let me just pull that one up right here.
That one flew in the open. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it was going a little crazy there. I was like, I went a little crazy as well. I saw the drive and I'm like, let's wait for it to kind of slow down there. So I got involved, 55 halves, kind of followed it down here into this bit of shelf that's been happening. If we can just go to the chart there a little bit, so you can see that right there. So we're attempting to break that shelf right now. I did stop out, or not really stop out. I kind of got out of most of it before I came here, got in a little bit and tightened up the stop there. So a little bit of a shelf happening at the 54.60s. Let's see where we go from there. Wow, Walmart coming right back in as well on that. And the other name, as you asked, was Intel. So Intel pretty much chopped it up pretty heavily, had the long off the open through the 45. That was really nice. And then it couldn't really follow through 45 halves. So I started flipping short there for the reversion. And the reversion did come in real nice, but I had nowhere near the amount of size that I had on the way up. So I'm like kind of thinking about that. Yeah, sure, I was expecting that kind of move up, little continuation to the upside. There goes Google as well. So same thing here. I had a lot more here. You look at all those reds, right? And then I just cover everything and I get back for a fraction of the amount underneath 155 for the flush. And lo and behold, it comes in all right now. So I guess I'll try to preserve my mental there, not get too much FOMO there, as this is the move that I was looking for, and I have literally 1/8 of the size that I wanted, or that I had initially, and that I really wanted on this trade right now. But let's see how it goes here. Futures come into the lows there. What did you have on watch today?
Yeah, it's a nice look on Google. It's too bad that the move that you wanted didn't come until a little bit later, but that's a really nice
Without
look.
me a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing on watch here was this NVDA. I just got out of this as we head into the lesson, so it took about a 50-cent hit on the DCA. I want to explain the concept behind this. So basically, why I initially got in was I have my 5-minute chart here. Look at these kind of failed wicks to the downside we have here. We're holding up at 907. I get in. We actually get up to 908.70, and this is kind of right as the midday began, so I did not have my profit takers ready. I had a really small position. I added in a little bit here at that 905.50 once I noticed that we held and retook this 905 area really well, because by the time I was paying back attention to this, we'd already kind of had that move down and recovered. I ended up just getting out at, where did I get out? 906. Because I was just like, we have to leave before the lesson, and this is definitely not something you want to stay in while you're talking and not looking at your computer for a period of time, right? So that was why I was like, NVIDIA, we have to leave UB. Now NVIDIA is kind of recovering back to my point of entry in terms of that DCA, which was that 906.49, I believe. So nice move back up here for the NVDA. If we continue holding this level, I do continue to love these failed wicks here to the downside, showing that buyers are overwhelming sellers. I think there could be something here. It also happens to coincide a little bit of confluence, if you will, with this free market area we had around that 906, 907. So I do think there's still something in the water here for NVDA. I do want to keep watching it. Yeah, I definitely fumbled my entries a little bit here. I'm not going to lie. I am still in the SIM. I still need to do my compliance test. But once I have set some time aside for that, hopefully going to get into this. Yeah, I guess I could have been a little bit more patient. Now NVIDIA's at that 908 area I was eyeing, but it's all good. As Obi was saying earlier, you can't FOMO, right? You just have to kind of brush it off your shoulders, keep going and seeing what this market has to give you. But right now, what we have to give you is a lesson. It's not my best transition. We're going to talk here about trading in different times of day. That's kind of going to be the theme of the week. And trading the open is not something I know as much about, because I do trade exclusively during these midday hours of 11 to 2. So if anyone in the chat has any insights they want to share, or Obi, of course, you definitely know trading the open much better than me. So anyone has anything they want to share, any insights, definitely tag me or pipe in there, because I think this is a really interesting conversation about how there are different strategies and different takes you have to take while you're trading different times of day. So let's start with the introduction. Morning trading, basically is pretty basic here, but trading the open or trading in the morning is going to basically refer to trading usually that occurs within the first hour of the trading day, so at 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. And one of the benefits of trading during this time of day, of course, is that you have this extra volatility that traders can capitalize on. You know what I mean? It is especially ahead of some of the slower action that's found during the midday. So during the midday, you definitely have a bit of a cooling off period between that really hectic morning hour and the power hour, the stuff later in the day, which we're going to talk about later this week. But so trading in the morning definitely gives you that rush of volatility if that's the type of thing you're looking for as a trader. So why the morning matters so much is you get all of this volume. The volume at market open does tend to be some of the strongest of the day, which can give traders lots of opportunities to get involved in liquid stocks. And if an asset or index has lower volume off the open, it can suggest a lack of interest in the asset or market that day. So this volume that you get, A, can give you lots of opportunities to get involved, but B, if there's less volume, it can give you a sense of that potentially being an issue going into the day, that there is going to be a little bit less participation in the market or in that asset or what have you. Direction also is really key to keep an eye on right off the open. So the direction that a stock moves immediately off the open can give market participants a sense of whether investors or traders are feeling bullish or bearish heading into the session. So basically giving you a really quick sense of sentiment. Of course, that can change, but the move we get right away can really give you a feel for how market participants are feeling. Levels, of course, really important as well, because this action that we get off the open can give traders a sense of levels that could be important for the asset during the session. So basically early levels of support and resistance. And also the opening price of an asset can be really important for indicators like pivots. You know, Sharif, who's hopefully enjoying his safari, Sharif, I know, has talked a lot about pivot points, especially as of late. So those are certainly really important levels to keep in mind, and those are based on these opening levels. When you trade the morning, are there any particular things you look for differently compared to trading in different times of the day?
Yeah, for sure. Off the morning, we can just talk about kind of the couple of trades that I had today off Intel and Google. You can see that just as Adara mentioned, very aggressive volume and volatility right off of the open. You can see that Google does a little bit of multiples of ATR right off the open, 150 to 155, so about 5 points, and in a very short amount of time. And yeah, that kind of has me looking for that potential reversion as well. But yeah, if you're there for that drive, I think you can see that we took some fills on Intel as well, going into the 45 there. And yeah, opening drive or opening flushes. If there's like one direction that things are going, and you have some levels from predefined levels that you want to interact at, I think the open can be a great time to look for opportunities for sure. But yeah, no, let us know in the chat. What are some names you guys might have traded off of the open? How might you trade the open as well? I know some people like to take the opening print right off. Some people like to take look at pre-market action if it's doing RVOL, and then relative to how we open, pre-market action relative to that, pre-market highs and lows, previous day highs and lows, if those come into play right off of the open. But yeah, no, definitely lots of opportunity. And I know a lot of people talk about the opening range breaks as well, right? So you have that initial range that's been defined, and then you take the break, or you look for the break of that range to give you more information to either kind of be a little bit more patient or maybe execute as well. So lots of opportunity off the open, Adara.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I appreciate you going over those too, because both those trades are examples of different strategies you can take off the open. So you're right, Intel buying into that momentum, or in Google waiting for it to kind of settle and then taking your opportunity. And honestly, getting basically top wick on that short, which is a really nice look there. So yeah, I appreciate those, because they're two different examples of different strategies you can get on the same day off the open. So I thought, thank you for
off similar action.
That's
right?
true too, right?
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah. It's like both playing off of those movements up and playing them in different ways. So yeah, thank you so much for going over that. And if anyone else has any examples, definitely let us know. Coin Clock and Tax saying, I like opening range, breakouts, and breakdowns. Yeah, that's a good point. And that kind of pretty similar to what you were just mentioning as well. So I think that's a nice look. Also, Sean saying you're $7 on Meta. So all I have to do is clap there and shout out to Sean with his $7 on Meta, because Nice look there. Also, last slide of the lesson here, just
Wow,
some other
nice.
factors to consider here
Let's say reversion short.
when
It's
you're
like,
taking
yeah,
these
yeah.
morning trades. Also, yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, OP pointing out as well, what Sean did with Meta is a reversion short, which is another play that you can play right off the open.
Nice.
And the
Sean's sticky note.
just getting
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, just, Sean's calling these tops. SMH as well. Eh? Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Wow, beautiful. Okay, so that's kind of what I was looking for. So I played that move on Intel, and Intel was taking a little bit of a while, and Google as well. Google not really being a chip name, but I was sitting back there at my desk, and I was like, maybe I'm not in the right vehicle to take this short because it's happening pretty much everywhere. The market's reverting. The ES is flushing. So it's like, yeah, if you had the same short idea. On the NQ, you can catch about 100 points. On the ES, about 30 points. Or on Intel, you can catch about 40 cents. So it's like, depending on the vehicle that you're using to take a certain part of the beta move, it can yield different results. Let's just say that. And that's definitely a learning lesson. But yeah, solid short there on both SMH and Meta there, Sean.
Yeah, nice. I guess certainly Sean killing it with those shorts off the open. Yeah, I think it shows too there's always different opportunities you can find off the open, right? So you had your success with Intel and Google, and then Sean with these very different names as well. And there's always opportunities depending on what you want to look for off the open for the most part, right? Which is cool, especially in a day like today where, I mean, if you saw the upgrades and downgrades, there wasn't a lot happening today on the surface. Even news-wise, there wasn't too much, but there's definitely always opportunities, especially right in that morning hour if you know where to look. So I think that's really cool. And shout out to Obi and Sean for those trades. But also some factors to consider as well when you're looking at these opening levels. One thing to keep in mind for trading off the open is you have this greater volatility, which can bring, lots of excitement and opportunities for profit, but it also brings greater risk because trends and directions can be susceptible to change. So with that in mind, be prepared to leave the trade quickly if you need to, right? Whether it be through taking profit or exiting with a loss. So you have to figure out and set your profit taking and stop loss levels right when you enter the trade so that you can take advantage of and fail to be swept up in the sudden price movements that are common in morning trading. And last but not least here, make sure that you're aware of any economic releases, Fed speak, or earnings calls if applicable. So if we're talking like, CCL, those names that have weird earnings calls at like 10 a.m., that are going to be scheduled during the first half hour or hour of the trading day. So today we had some examples with those S&P Global and ISM PMI releases coming in the morning, also consumer confidence numbers usually scheduled around 10 a.m., right? So there are certain numbers that you are going to get in that first half hour that it's worth noting to be aware of. And also Sean was mentioning that earlier today as well, like being aware and being apprised of these economic data because they can impact the trade and you don't want to get lost in the sauce to borrow an opiism there. But I think, so definitely something to be
Flushing even harder.
aware of.
Just gotta short the futures at this point, right, Sean? It's like, yeah, nice.
But yeah, that's the end of the lesson there. And I have to say, I'm so happy I left that NVIDIA long before the lesson because NVIDIA just broke below 900. So Sean's definitely in the money on that SMH short because, wow. Yeah, I'm not super proud of how I set this up. Like I just said this in the lesson, when you get into a trade, and if it's going to be volatile, make sure you set your outs immediately, which I absolutely did not do in NVIDIA. We only lost 50 cents on this, which is, of course, not ideal, but I'm happy I was able to manage this in this way, especially before we had that giant flush to the downside there on NVDA, which is definitely a great short. Yeah, I wish I had kind of more that I was looking at here. AMD also was looking a skosh rangy, kind of like a baby NVIDIA here, the way we had this chop and churn. But now we're kind of falling below that as well. These are lines I think I drew earlier, but oddly enough, this 182 actually still holding as a potential level. I mean, right now we broke below it, but I think if that 182 comes back into play, I might have some stuff to keep in mind there. Kyle Burdett, thank you so much for the $2 super chat saying, Adara, give me your best dump it. I'll try. Damp it. I don't know. I'm not Sharif.
It's tough to do it like he does,
Pardon?
I said it's tough to do it like he does.
Like
He has a very distinct way of, like the pamp it and the damp it or dump it.
Yeah, there's a really specific flavor to the cadence that he uses for that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, we're done the lesson for the day. We do repeat the lessons 2 more times. You'll hear some more for that, and I'm definitely excited to get into some more of the different times of day for trading. But yeah, I think the morning really important. I was happy we were able to get some live examples there from Obi and Sean. Yeah, I don't have too much on the horizon right now for myself trading wise. NVIDIA, I'm going to probably try to stay away from because that name is a little much. But some people were tagging me earlier, including someone named Shinobi in the chat. Shout out to you, saying that Tesla actually is not looking bad as a long here. And I totally see where you're coming from. So we had that move down here. We're hanging out at that 170.50 area, couple wicks to the downside, and then getting these candles buying this up, showing, hey, I think there's some buying strength here. Now, what I want to wait for, because this is a level that for whatever reason, A, I keep an eye on, and B, I find can actually be pretty important for gauging direction. I want to see us reclaim and sit above that 9 EMA area. We're right now dancing just below it. The one thing that does give me confidence for this level holding is look at this candle here. We had this massive move to the downside, actually below that 171. Now we're up here at 171.50. So this candle is giving you a sense of some more bullish movement, but I want to actually see a reclaim and a little perch above that 9 EMA area, that 171.50, 171.60. Now this might seem arbitrary, but I know this is a level that can form as resistance, so I don't want to buy into it as resistance. Do you know what I mean? If we keep resisting this, I will go short, mind you. But I think that we do have these candles, and especially this wick here, suggesting that there is a long potentially on the horizon for the Cybertruck. And so I do not want to be caught unawares. I want to be very cognizant of these levels here on Tesla, and if we can reclaim that 9 EMA, I would be pleased as punch, and I will be stepping into a long on this level. Also, yeah, Mohican Scalper saying short Tesla at your own peril. I think right now, for sure, that is kind of what I'm seeing here. We are increasingly, we're basically at this level I want here, which is a little rest here and a perch on that 9 EMA. So I think to me, this is my, I don't want to say best idea because it's basically my first idea, but this is an idea that I don't mind right now. So shout out to the people mentioning this potential Tesla long. I want to see us have this little bounce, this trampoline area off this 9 EMA, and then I think I will be getting involved. Yeah, a lot of things kind of fell out of previous areas there. That Google fell, Microsoft as well, you were mentioning was pretty tightly wound here, and now we're falling a little bit here on this Microsoft as well. I like this earlier range area just because I love ranges of this 422 area to that 423.80. If we can kind of reclaim that, that could be interesting. Right now, though, we're just kind of hanging out around this earlier pre-market area where VWAP was forming in the pre. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to try to buy into Tesla right now. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at something. I'm trying to find something to get into, but yeah, these tickers are falling to the ground there with the NQ and the ES. You can see Intel. I am in a little bit of Intel as well from earlier. Not enough of Google, but Google relatively strong as the whole market dumps, and it seems to be holding this 154.5 kind of shelf here as the market dumps and goes to the downside here. So I'm just curious to know what some of these constituents are up to. So yeah, I know that NVIDIA is breaking to the downside. Apple steady selling to the downside. Fresh lows about to print. Softy, we're talking about that. Softy as well. Couldn't really break the low there for 22.5 as of right now, but let's see. We'll give it some more time there and see if that comes into fruition. That 18.4 potentially coming in as well. 18.6 rejected. Couldn't really get past that 18.6. On the NQ. So we're watching Google as well. Google holding quite distinctly. I am a little short here. Might be a little cheeky getting short like that on a relatively strong name that manages to hold in the upper quartile of this strength that we had. You can see 150 to 155s, and we've only held above 54 halves as of right now, with about a point of consolidation or kind of a slowdown here of this strength off the open. So a few different potential scenarios, maybe, but let's see what it does. I'm looking for that continuation to the downside, if that'll even come in on Google. But it's a good thing, I guess. Now I don't rag red is not rag redding that much to the downside on Google. The lack of follow through to the downside on Google, the stop out that I did have, the stop out or the take profit or whatever you want to call it, I was just like, okay, well, this is taking a little longer than I expected, so I do want to kind of get out of that one there. But yeah, potentially I hear some people talking about a potential bounce as well, right? Yeah. So if if we're gonna quadrunk this hard and heavy to the downside, I am potentially looking for a little bit of a bounce, and there goes a little bit of a bounce there on NVIDIA, 895 coming right back up. So what were some of the lows from last week? We see that 890s, 891s were some of the lows that held up Thursday. It was Wednesday and Thursday. Friday was off. Wednesday and Thursday. So the final days of last week, we're holding above some of those levels as of right now on NVIDIA, but below 900, below VWAP as well. So yeah, we couldn't necessarily hold. VWAP comes right back through the open as well. Let's see what some of these tickers have in store for us today. People talking about IBIT as well. So Bitcoin's one that I didn't really look at as of right now. But yeah, okay, so Bitcoin kind of in step, a little bit of a flush happening off of over the past hour or so there. So let's see, where's that 930 open? So 930, we pretty much can't really get above this 70 thou, and we've come into the downside. So people mentioning IBIT in the chat. So IBIT straight flush. So there's that little consolidation that we saw relative to that 70 thou on Bitcoin, and then that is reflected with this consolidation here at 40 on IBIT, and then a little bit of a flush all the way down, 1 point flush to 39, and now we're holding that 39 as of right now. So Bitcoin doing some moves, interesting stuff. The shorts were definitely on in the morning. Did any of you have any of those shorts there? I kind of a little bit of a fumble on my part there, only getting short on Intel and Google, while the rest of the market kind of falls on its face there. So what's the next trade? That's what I'm asking. Maybe a potential bounce here off of that 18.4, or let's see if we can reclaim this 53 on the ES there as well. What are you guys watching? Let me know. I'm looking for a potential bounce as well. Yeah, that IBIT looking good. If Google is going to hold here and kind of continue to the upside, I'll definitely get out of that one and reassess. I think if the market kind of bounces and Google's been holding that relative strength, maybe a little bit more oomph on that market bounce to push us back through some of these highs there. Or we kind of come back to the downside. I have no idea, but this action on Google is quite interesting. Let me know what you guys are trading, and we can take a quick look at that as well. I know AMD. Oh boy, AMD with a bit of reversion. I'm just looking at some of the top volume leaders on the day here. AMD being the third on the list, and yeah, talk about a reversion on chips. I'm getting short on Intel 4520s. That same move comes in 86 halves, 87s, 85s, and now AMD is pushing 181s, 181 halves as of right now. So on that same move, now this is something I'm going to have to kind of reevaluate and reconsider. Is that if I'm looking Home Depot or like Pepsi or Broadcom up to right now. So let's take a quick look at some of those. Pepsi to the downside. Wow, that's quite a bit of a flush there on Pepsi. Home Depot, let's take a quick look at that. Home Depot to the downside as well. AVGO, let's take a quick look at Broadcom. Okay, so Broadcom holding up a little bit better, but did kind of pull back off of some of those highs in the morning session. So yeah, we're talking about trading in the morning versus the other times right now, or like midday to late day. And I think, yeah, it is a little bit of a different trading. Things are so much more fast-paced and aggressive in the morning session, whereas midday, you can see kind of a little bit of more methodic, kind of a grinding down or grinding up, or a little bit of a slower move tends to happen, I think. But again, it's volume dependent. If a bunch of volume kind of comes in, I think you can look for that, look for a potential move to happen. But what do I know? I'm just waiting for the next opportunity there. What do you got going on in there?
Yeah, no, and I have right now 2 trades, a Tesla long, which is cooking. Also, I do want to address this. It will have shown on the position board for 2 seconds that I was short Tesla. Shocker, I did fat finger. I'm getting better about the fat fingers, but I am not perfect. So we did have a little bit of a fat finger moment on TSLA. So I took it short. We lost like very minuscule, maybe 2 pennies on that. Then I went long. The bigger issue, though, too, is because I spent some time going short and then I would get out of the short, I got in about 10 to 20 pennies later than I wanted to for the short. So not my favorite price entry area, I have to be honest, but I'm okay with it right now. I have a profit taker set at that 172.40 area because I do love taking out pieces of the position as we get into previous areas of support or resistance. This, to me, this little baby candle, as we had this move to the downside at 10.20, especially on the 5-minute, to me could be a potential area of resistance because it weirdly showed up as a baby support area on Tesla on the way down. So I do want all of that smoke there. Also, I'm in a short, and my short is Microsoft, and I'm actually pretty happy with this so far too, I have to say. So why I got involved here? Couple reasons. A, as I've said, I love when the 9 EMA shows up as a support resistant area. I am trying to be less reliant on this level and admittedly probably failing. But I do think there are some times where it does show up and you want to take advantage of the stuff that you see, right? So I did go short here, just shy of that 424 area. And this was an area I had my eye on as we kind of got into this because I noticed every time we get to this 9 EMA, not every time, but like the last couple times we've gotten. So this is the 3rd time now we get there and we struggle to get above. So I thought this could be an interesting short to keep an eye on. I watched as it happened and then I got involved. Highest we've gotten since I've gotten in here has been like that 424.05, 424.08 area. We haven't gotten above 424.10 that I've seen. If we get decisively above into this 424.40s area, that's where I'm gonna have to leave. I'd be interested in getting out around this 423.25. So that could be a skosh ambitious, but I think there's probably some potential there. It's a really small position. I'm gonna actually set my profit taker there. So if we get back down into that 423.25, 423.30 area, which was that previous area of